Iko na risiti hapana. Ni ya kazi gani? Ni ya mdoso. Ya kufanyia nini? Ya kutafuta kura. Wasungu wamesema hawezekani. Hiyo kamati ya Nelson Koech have taken the British round for 8 months asking for a bribe of 3 billion. The British have said no. They have cancelled the contract and moved to Tanzania.
He further called on President Ruto to publicly declare any interest he may have in the Delaru money printing company and assure Kenyans that it will not be used to print money to finance political campaigns.
Pale Sudan, hawa watu ya RSF wamepata pesa. Ile kiwanda ya kutengeneza pesa ilikuwa inaitwa Delaru, ilifungwa na Uhuru Kenyatta. William Ruto amenunua through proxy. Pesa ya Sudan inakuwa printed in Kenya, inapelekwa Sudan. Na what we are fearing, Reverend Father, is that history might repeat itself. We are suspecting that William Ruto has acquired Delaru so that he can print money for the coming election. And then there will be inflation and our economy will collapse. We want William Ruto to confirm whether he has bought Delaru and to assure the people of Kenya that he will not print currency for the purpose of election.
Gachagua also alleged that Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen and Immigration PS Belio Kipsang were involved in issuing Kenya IDs to foreign nationals in violation of the law.
Huyu kijana huyu, Minister for Gunism, gave diplomatic passports to international criminals from Sudan who have been barred from visiting any part of the world. He gave them diplomatic passports to travel all over the world. Those are international criminals. Huyu Murkomen gave them passports. We want to know, Bwana Minister for Gunism, have you cancelled those diplomatic passports you gave to terrorists, war criminals from Sudan? You have been selling IDs to foreigners as 15,000 shillings. You are actually the cause of insecurity in this country. You are the greatest existential threat to national security. Because you and PS Belio Kipsang, you are giving IDs to foreigners at a fee. You are not only threatening national security, but regional peace and stability.
8 suspects arrested over a large consignment of suspected counterfeit fertilizer in Uasin Gishu County are expected to appear in court today. County Police Commander Wilberforce Sicharani Sada says fertilizer has been stored at Ainabkoi Police Station, while samples have been sent to KEBS and Anti-Counterfeit Authority for laboratory analysis to determine their quality. Police recovered 500 bags of the suspected fake fertilizer in Moiben, 4,000 bags in Cabenes, and 74 bags in the Lake Machine area. Uasin Gishu County Commissioner Dr. Edison Nyale said the consignment was being transported to Narok County.
Mbolea ambayo ni gushi, anachoma na chemicals, inakuwa nyeusi, ana repackage kwa DIP na anaweza kuuza kwa bei kali zaidi. So this is a second offender, repeat offender. Uwezi shina na serikali, mizizi itangolewa, na ukiangalia mahali hapo for the first time katika maisha yake, boma lake halijaingiliwa na serikali kiwango hiki.
And that's why we are carrying out investigations, serious investigations. We have a team from the DCI headquarters. They are with us and they are assisting us in the investigation, at least to establish where the source impola inatoka.
And that's the news. I'm Sheila Tembor.
.5 Spice FM, Kisumu. Broadcasting worldwide, Spice FM. Online, mobile, and on radio. Facebook at Spice FM KE.
If we just gloss over issues and hope that time heals, then we might find that in generations to come, we might be back at the same situation. And the whole thing is born of stolen elections.
Spice.
When it comes to the decisions you make, you must be independent. There's no way you can allow one institution to dictate to you how you're going to conduct your operations, how you're going to decide cases. It's a no.
When you weaken the institution to the point where they cannot take action, then you realize that politicians have to come up and now start dealing with the issues.
That conversation has to die. Our politicians do not like the hard stuff. We must insist on the path of doing things right, whether popular or unpopular.
Money changes hands. That is a fact. If you have political goodwill at the highest top, like in Rwanda, then corruption will be an issue of the past. If you don't have political goodwill at the top, we will pass laws, we will amend laws, we will continue passing laws and re-amending laws, and nothing will happen.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
In this country, 6 families and 8,000 Kenyans control 90% of the GDP. We are not a country. We are a plantation. We work for Ruto.
When you're telling the judges court orders are papers or they will not obey court orders, they're sitting and you're seeking orders from them. So how are they supposed to interpret it? Isn't it an oxymoron?
When you see a judiciary that seems to be under some control somewhere, you start questioning. We have very powerful governors, but they don't use their offices to serve the people.
If you are not shameful to do what you are doing, why should we protect you?
I'm human. Everybody's human. So when you're told, kuja tuongee, I mean, you'd be a fool to say, stagi kuongea today. Conversations have to be had, you know?
People in leadership should only go into leadership if they are ready and willing to change the lot of the people.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation. The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
One of the things that are ailing our country is negative ethnicity. You find you as a state officer, instead of thinking as a Kenyan, you think like a tribal person.
Let me tell you something. The biggest problem we have had in this country is a leadership deficit. There is nothing that you are going to do in the process of change if you are not a risk taker. So you really have to pursue your vision to a logical conclusion and even be ready to step on people's toes.
When it comes to the economy, you can run away with it. They say statistics are like bikinis. They reveal a lot, but they conceal the vitals. And so government people would throw statistics at you and tell you they're revealing a lot of information to you, but it's really concealing the real vitals.
We need to get out of that, because when we want to grow our democracy, one basic thing that really requires to be understood by the political class, by all of us, is institutions are critical.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
Parliament has got powers. Let me break it down. The National Assembly can initiate an impeachment of the president.
This same
and the
National
Senate,
Assembly.
Yes. That's our constitution.
This is just a continuation of the previous administration, which Ruto was part of. President Uhuru himself openly said that we're losing 2 billion daily. Daily. I mean, come on. Are you saying that we don't have a central bank?
If we look at Kenya, both public-private sector, that figure is ranging between 30 to 40%, right?
I think it's clear that the government of Kenya is living beyond its means.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
And just like that, it's Monday. Good morning.
Good morning, Nduh. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing? How was your weekend?
My weekend was good, actually, All things considered. Hey, I thank God.
Sasa, what are those things you're considering?
All things considered, like good health, you know, like some things you take for granted, but I'm learning to not to take good health for granted.
Don't take it for granted.
Don't.
It is true.
Don't.
You can do everything that you can, and then you just leave the rest.
Yes.
To God. That is it.
Yeah.
But that you are fine, and we are seeing you in that resplendent mustard sweater is a good thing for us. We are all very happy. I'm fine, thank you.
Now, you're equally really good?
Yes.
Because I can equally see the two burgundies of the maroon on your lips and your top.
The lips match the sweater. Yeah.
Yes, welcome back. Actually, we missed you Friday, but
Thank you.
I told people you'll be come. You'll be back. You'll be back.
Asante sana.
Simona nimemrudisha. Sina deni.
Wow. Really? That's what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see you, and I'm glad that you're here. Karibu sana. It's already the 27th of July. For those of you who thought that July would not come to an end, it's over in 4 days. And then schools are closing. Officially, and then we're going to get into that 3-week holiday, and that so many things are happening. And while all those things were happening, boom, the western part of the nation blew up. Akina Barasa.
Let me tell you, if there was ever an earthquake, now that was an earthquake.
Somebody should tell somebody
how to organize an earthquake.
Definition first. You know that earthquakes for dummies. You know those books, Chicken Soup. Earthquakes for dummies. Go, then you read. How do I organize an earthquake?
No, Nduh. Why are you even overdoing it? They didn't even get the liquid to turn the page. They're stuck on prologue.
Akina Barasa, we will never play with you again. I'm sorry. We don't. You never showed us how to do these things. We will never try you guys again.
Sifuna. You gotta love it.
Oh, it's interesting. And of course, we'll be having conversations around that today. But a very good morning to everybody, and getting into kabisa. Skiddy's here. Good morning. Marion is here. Good morning. Eric Mugo is here because Mutanu has decided I'm just going to sleep for one. Wow. That's not what I was going to say, but okay.
Yeah.
And JB, good morning. Everybody getting into it today, nice and solid. It's a Monday morning, and Karibu. We're going to talk about a number of things over the weekend. But you know what? I think my favorite part of the weekend was to see the ingenuity and humor that lies in the hearts of Kenyans. CCC Mafisi.
Not even that.
Jeez.
I saw a certain AI video where there were feces just having a conversation. I think that women who came from church with the turbans and everything. And after that, like, sisi mafisi, sisi tunarudi nyumbani. You know.
There are Maasai feces. They have feces from the coast.
From the coast.
All of us are feces. Sheesh. You got to be very careful what you say, because Kenyans are going to take it and turn it around in a way that you didn't expect. Be careful what you say, little mouth. Be careful what you say, little mouth. For the Father up above, He is looking down in love. So be careful what you say, little mouth.
We're not calling anyone mouse, but be careful what you say, little mouse.
Mouth. Hey, yawa. Anyway, like I said, it will all form part of the discussions that we will have today. There is never a dull moment, especially when you're a year to an election in any country, for that matter.
Yep.
So we are going to wait and see what that is all about. But time will tell. There were those who are saying, "Oh, this is just blow." It's like, what do they say? In a
passing cloud.
Yeah. Oh, there's another one. There's something with the motor. Yeah, Gazette something.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. Inachomeka haraka kama moto, something.
Yeah.
Anyway, we will see, because at the end of the day, if it's a passing cloud, guess what? It will pass.
It will pass.
So let's wait and see, shall we?
Question: if it's not and you're not prepared, what are you going to do?
It will rain on you.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it could be a passing cloud, or it's something that's here to stay.
One thing I've learned is that actually people can donate to a campaign.
My friend, this is what I have, a widow's mite.
Yeah.
Just take
this, because I believe and trust in you. And you see what that does is it changes the entire game. So that if you're coming with your 4 billion, you have to tell people where that 4 billion is. Then again, there is the responsibility, because the people gave in towards your campaign. If you end up there, your responsibility is to give back and to deliver, because they're the ones who actually put you there.
Exactly.
Yo,
like I said,
it was an interesting week.
It was a very interesting weekend, and likelihood of very interesting days to come. And so, forming, of course, part of the conversations that we'll have today. A very good morning to everybody. Dennis Aseto and Nduh with you here this morning in the Situation Room. It's Kenya's biggest conversation on this Monday. It's the last Monday of July. And even as we get into it, let me tell you what we'll be talking about today. Our conversations will span, of course, across board, but we're going to be looking into Kenya's politics a little bit here and there. And, well, not here and there, but, quite some. And if I can just find what I'm talking about, this is what I'm talking about. The battle for, Race to State House 2027 is the conversation that we're talking about. Whether people say, we want to chenga people, we want to pay patapotea. The people of Kenya actually are interested in knowing what's on the buffet. So you can actually start to make a selection. And you can actually, ask people what is cooking behind there. So you won't just come and say surprise later on. No. People are actually very interested in knowing. Is the good Senator Sifuna presidential bid a game changer come next year? Is it a game changer today? Is it something that we're looking at that ought to be considered? We're going to analyze this conversation today. Youth leader UDA Elijah Sawe is going to be in the presence of Evans Wafula, who is a political analyst. Both of them will join us at 7 o'clock and we'll have that conversation. Is it a game changer? Does it actually move the conversation now that we've seen? There's so many things that you want to play into here. The crowd's unbelievable. That wherever he went, he was welcomed. He was stopped and said, you must address us, even if it was not, a stop point on this tour. And they said, no, you have to stop and you must address us. You must address the people. We must hear from you. So does this now have an impact on what is going to happen come 2027?
True.
We'll analyze this. We'll talk about it come 7 o'clock this morning. The battle for Mulembe will be discussed by Michael Agwanda, who is a political analyst as well. For the longest time, even before I got into the political space, just studying and then, at different levels, the Kenya case came into discussion. And that a particular particular block of people, numerous in number, and this is not a stab, numerous in number, were unable to come together to then make a decision that would sway the outcome of an election. And that's the Luya vote. It's this area that it's never been able to unite. So the question is, at this point, has it come united?
Are they united?
Are they united now? And who's the unifying, if there is a unifying factor? Who is it? Can the president woo Mulembe ahead of 2027? This might be the part that he needs if what we are hearing is that Gachagua has said West Central is mine, and that was the number that swayed the election in 2022. But if that's gone, would he be counting on Mulembe, and does he have it? So that's what we're going to be looking at 8 o'clock. And then, dear Mr. President, is the conversation that we'll have. The education conversation is so heavy, but I am worried, Dennis, that, you can stand up today and just say, oh, that one that we spent time, money, resources, people's whatever for the last 3 years, people have been telling you that it doesn't work. You refuse to admit that it doesn't work. And then suddenly, out of the blue,
it's not working.
You say,
I have a solution.
Dear Mr. President, let's talk about this education thing a little bit more, but we'll discuss. But the number of things, it's a plethora of things that we'll talk with the president this morning, and we'll get all of that from our next couple of conversations. So that's what it looks like this morning. Get on into the room. Let's talk today, because one of the things, a problem shared is half solved, as they say. But then also, let's also engage where we're going to do so intellectually, and that there's certain things that we can learn. If there are uncomfortable conversations, we'll have them right here. If there are things that you think nobody's talking about, we'll talk about them right here in this room, and we'll move the needle, even if it's one person at a time every day. Karibuni sana. Thank you for being here this morning. Where have you taken us today? Did you know that mustard and burgundy actually go very well together?
Yes.
The people who spend time in color coding and color matching will tell you that they're very good complements. And I am just talking about the colors. So you just, take that as you may.
Okay. We go very well together this morning.
I just left it up there, but okay.
We are in Malawi.
Oh, Malawi.
Malawi. It is considered to be the warm heart of Africa. Lake Malawi covers 20% of the entire country's landmass. And one thing about that Great Lake is the fact that it has different species than any other lake in the world. So if you talk about tourism and knowing different species you can find in a lake, then you just need to go deep diving inside the lake Malawi.
I would love to do that, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing they've done about their lakes is they have beaches. You know, like in Kenya, you only know if I want to enjoy a great beach, I have to go to the coast. Now they have taken advantage of their lakes to have amazing beaches that then attract tourists. All right?
All right.
Yes. Let's go to the proverb. Hey, always remember, empty seats are better than wrong company. Always remember, empty seats are better than wrong company.
It's true. I think a lot of time my dad used to say, if you're not invited, don't go. If it's clear that you're not welcome, don't be there. You'd rather be by yourself than maybe somebody who's taking you in the wrong direction or somebody who's going to, just be a pain. Or in the place where you're uninvited, don't feel as though you must go. You'd rather have that seat empty than be there, or have someone uninvited than be in an uncomfortable position. It's a difficult thing to do, isn't it, as a human being sometimes? But it usually is the safest road to go.
Yeah. I mean, I look at it, and one of the most difficult thing to do, especially when you are around people, is to say no where everybody's saying yes.
It's tough.
But imagine what that no does and the power it gives you to just have that red line, nobody crosses there, and people knowing when you come here, Nduh, these are no goes on Aseto, these are no goes on. Why? Because among the many, that no is your strength. That no is your empty seat.
That no is your empty seat. Indeed. Indeed. All right, so let's say good morning to everybody, and where it is that you're tuned in from. Our live streams are up on YouTube, Facebook, and on X, and our audience on KTN. Top of the morning to you, Karibu Sana, and those who listen as you're on your way to where you're going today. We welcome you with open arms into the room, and as we talk today, we thank you that you're part of our conversations. We'll take a quick minute to say hello to you and thank you for joining us. Wherever it is that you are, let us know as we say hi. Sawa sawa. All right. Tuned in, Don Sabo says, Nduh and Aseto, good morning. A very good morning to you. Ask Aseto.
Yes.
Aseto, do you believe that Sisi Nisifuna is a what?
Paper fire.
Is paper, that's the word I was looking for. Paper fire crowded by the organic Sifuna wave all over.
Let me tell you, only time will tell. Only time will tell. Because if it's paper fire, ask yourself the question, who's managed to do what he has done, especially in the Western region? Is it paper fire? Let's wait and see. Time will tell.
Okay, let's wait and see if it actually is. Desmond Oti says, good morning. A very good morning to you. Sasa nyumba ya Sifuna imefanya nini shweli? Or Jeanette trying to put together, bring loggerheads between Rigiji and Sifuna. Leave the man's house alone. Stop it. I mean, come on. It's just his house. And when he was there, of course, people felt they needed to take a picture of it just to show, how he lives.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So everybody just needs to calm down.
Relax.
I mean, God, it's a house.
Yeah.
Stop it. Really, really calm down. I would have used other phrases, but, it's still 6:24. G. Kenya says, good morning from Nairobi. Very good morning to you. Bernard Ogamba says, good morning, Nduh and Aseto. Drivers, please be extra careful ferrying our children home. We want them alive to tell us why they want to burn everything. Yeah, this is the week.
Yeah.
I beg you. Hey, God. A lot of them be coming home. And this is also the term where there are a lot of school trips happening.
True.
People are going all over the place. School buses, and then out of their normal residence, they're going to Mombasa, they're going to, Nyeri, they're going to the Masai Mara. These school trips are happening. Please be very careful. You'd rather even slow down. I used to be in a car with a friend of mine, and he would say that when you're going and you see a school bus, you'd rather even slow down. We'll get where we're going.
True.
It's just please be very careful. This is that season. And I think that's a great point that you've made this morning, Bernard. Simon Wahil says, good morning, Spices. Ready for today's great conversations. Thank you for being here. Very good morning to you. Opio Polycarp says, good morning, Spices. A wise leader doesn't turn friends into adversaries, nor strongholds into battlegrounds. Nimbaya. Kiaria Peter says, good morning from Mombasa. We cannot treat people like trash and call ourselves religious at the same time. Actually, you can't.
You can't.
You can't.
You can't.
You are void of, you can't, the words that you speak. In fact, you know what? Yesterday it was the reverse, I remember. Guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life. Because the things that you say with your mouth are actually the things that you mean.
True.
Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So you speak and you spew nonsense. Guess what's inside? Because imagine when you belch. It's like when you belch and you can smell the food that you had eaten before. That's what's coming out.
That's what's coming out.
That's what's inside. Yeah. I agree with that. You can't preach water and drink wine. Exactly.
Drink wine and preach water.
Yeah. It's true. Robertson Bogo says, good morning from Mombasa. Very good morning to you. And James says, hello. An enemy that will one day abuse your child tests your defense by pinching them. Pinch my child, eh? Kenyans, fear what they tell you that your parliament is powered by bribes. They're testing your capacity. Well, I think both of those things are true.
Yeah.
Nashon Gogi says, good morning, Dennis and Nduh. With allegations made by Jeanette, can it be played when Gachagua goes before appeals court? This also brings up the question on source of wealth or most of these politicians. First of all, if you open your mouth in public and say, we were given money, you who received the money, why was it okay for you to receive the money in the first place?
True.
You have to also ask the question. Because this thing that you might use to try to paint somebody else black might actually get you in the pits.
Yep.
So you might want to... What did I say when we started? Just...
Zip it.
Hey.
Shut up. No.
It's been a while.
I'm like...
Come on.
Where's the ACC? I'm like...
You're not being smart.
Maybe nilipewa
pesa ndio tufukuze kasho. What? What is wrong with you?
Like,
Shut up.
Bro.
Hello.
What happened?
Hello. No, man.
Uliacha kile nyumbani.
I just feel sorry for some people sometimes. Literally. Guys, let this be a lesson to everybody.
Yeah.
The brain to mouth filter. When you wake up in the morning, you know the way you brush your teeth and have a cup of coffee.
Thank you.
Put the battery in.
Dust it.
Please. Put it. Check. You know the way you charge your phone?
Yeah.
Check that the battery in your brain to mouth filter is functioning. Otherwise, don't leave the house.
You know what
because you get yourself in trouble.
Do you know what they did to that battery? They put it to charge but forgot to switch on.
Bus. You forgot to switch it on. Then you just took the empty battery and you put it inside the filter. It's not gonna work, man.
Mungo's idea.
Hey, Jameni, it's not gonna work. Yeah. So that one, you're right. It has some issues there. James Kamau says, so help repayments comes from employees. Yes, it does. If no one is hiring because of the bad economy, then the help quietly dies and can't fund the next set of students. It's the economy, stupid. Yes, I agree. It's actually an education conversation that we're going to have on Wednesday this week. We're going to have a panel to discuss this because... Let me just breathe. Osana Mark says, good morning, Spice. A happy and blessed week ahead. You cannot cure diarrhea by stitching the anus. Actually, you can't.
It's true.
Yep, it's true.
Takulipua.
Or it'll come back in another direction.
Let me tell you. There is like flood water. It will always find a path.
Mother Nature always fights back, my people. It'll come out. And you can see that it's coming out. Some people are talking. They stitched the anus. Now the mouth. Sorry. Boy, too much? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Just like that. So now we continue greeting people because
Leo.
Clearly. Leo, good morning. Nduh, Aseto, he says, facts in numbers, NHIF was better than SHA. Okay. Few people registered, all paying and getting service. SHA millions registered, few paying. But in Utopia is better than NHIF, it will appear. She's back. Yay! Linda Gola, good morning. Bonjour à mon ami. Hope you're well. And Jeff Bet says, good morning, beautiful people of Kenya. Beautiful people of Kenya, you have been greeted. Henry Acceptor says, good morning, Spice family. Welcome back, Mrs. Nduh Asante Sana. You prayed for me. Amen. Aseto weekend, tulikuwa BG. This life takes you to unexpected places. Bungoma is BG?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Silinda Mwananchi ni wengi wa? Ni movement walichanga. It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Swali Ni says, Jeff, will we continue being a plantation when we work for Rudo? Mr. Rudo. Eric Yoga says, good morning, Spice team. You're the voice of the voiceless. Did you see how the Linda Mwananchi is sending the culprits home? Ayaore Aseto. Yaore. All right, Red Fire Red, good morning. Where have you been? Well, it's good to see you this morning. Hope you're well. Happy New Week. Good to see you recovered and well today. Thank you so much. I'm loving the colors. Yo, burgundy na mustard zinaweza kabisa. Marion Jerry is tuning in this morning from Portland in Oregon and says the episodes of criminal gangs attacks have paused for now. Well, you know the thing about criminal gangs, they've paused for now. They were not going to try anything stupid over the weekend going into Western.
Exactly.
I think it's even a story that was covered and said these seem to have been peaceful rallies. There was no one.
Yep.
Bongi Juma says, good morning, Spice. How are you all this week, this blessed Monday? To all Kenyans, arise, for Kenya is not a plantation to anyone. Paula says, good morning, Nduh. We thought umetunyia ile kitu. What is that?
Tumia.
Umetumia.
Okay, whatever he meant.
Sawa.
It's not that one. She's back.
Which one ever? It's okay. Yes. James Kamau is also tuning in. We see you. D-Combo, Habari Awote Wangwana. Good morning to you, sir. Rosie Kibunja. Yay. Good morning. Spice is tuned in from Nairobi. Princess Nduh, welcome back. Thank you. That color is coloring. Couture Aseto, the sweater is swearing. We continue to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable kabisa. Osena Emily says, good morning. What? A bust weekend it was. I was just with H.E. Sifuna. I just wish H.E. Sifuna the very best as he gears towards the highest office in this beautiful land. Okay. Martino says, good morning. They forced TV stations to stop live broadcast of Sifuna yesterday. Well, somebody did something. Wanda, good morning, Nduh and Aseto. Glad you're back, Nduh. Thank you so much. And Aseto's looking suave. You've heard suave. Suave. Okay. In that mustard sweater. I see a GQ magazine cover on the horizon. Kasele says, good morning, Spice family. Was Agnes Nduh ever found? The OCS who threw her girlfriend? I don't think she was hiding. I don't think she ran away. I think she's been walking around in broad daylight like a cockerel who's just crowed good morning.
Yep.
I don't think anybody was looking for her. And I think that's a huge indictment on people in the service. Can you imagine? Here we are again.
Yeah.
Hassan Oponde says, Tukondani sisi ndio Sifuna. Okay. Eric Awar says, good morning. Bernard Nyaberry, welcome back. And somebody should tell Dwale to reduce the kind of arrogance he portrays around. Or as Dennis would say, should just...
Shut up.
Okay. Kennedy Njanja says, good morning. You're loud and clear in Al Quoz in Dubai. Good morning to you. Kennedy, good job, guys. You say thank you so much. Daniel Churu says, blessed morning. My plea to Kenyans is that they stop, take time, and question if their suffering is because of another community or is it because of non-performing leaders. C.S. Dwali and Badi are mere mouthpieces. They're talking about something.
Yep.
That's for sure. I'm glad you're back. Thank you very much, Jennifer. Good morning, Dennis. Feel loved. And good morning, Spice family. May the God of Sifuna locate me this week. Rogers Lies tuned in this morning. Sabalheri Team Spice, it's good to be back. 87.9 FM. Meanwhile, Malemba region is sifunated. Sindio? Okay. Yes, back in Mombasa, so thank you for that. And Yakundi Emmanuel says, good morning, Team Spice. People are in panic mode, yet they had to reorganize panel meetings, Malava and Busia, but Wapi, it's only school buses we saw. That was interesting to see the school buses on the other side of things, wasn't it just? Raim Tula Omar says, good morning from Nairobi. Nduh and Aseto, just like Kenya, the former Indian education minister said he will not resign over exam paper leaks. The Indian youth forced him to note to Dwale. Yes, it's called the Colroach protest.
Yes.
Eric Yoga says, do you know that the teachers who invigilated exams yesterday have not been paid?
Education.
Bitter Herbs says, good morning, Nduh and Dennis. Someone once said Gachagua will be forgotten in 2 weeks. I'm telling us Sifuna is a passing cloud. Who told them? In the words of Kimiak.
Where's Kimiak?
We're asking again for the week, the third week. Christina says, I want to thank KTN for giving us the live coverage of the 6th. It was a beautiful weekend. This is Christina. Good morning to you. Paula Laka says, good morning, great week. Kitale and Mungoma made our weekend. The voice of the people is as alive. Okay. Nuru say, good morning. I hope Kenyans won't start soiling Sifuna donations like they did to Morara Kabaso. I hope so. Calvin Mirindo says, good morning, my love. Good morning to you, Calvin. And I hope you're well. Bidikani Voice, where Rogers Nyange is tuned in from. Tibbs Muge says, good morning, Spice team. Bishanga, good morning. How many days to the election? We're 340 something, if I'm not wrong. The Kikombe says, checked in, focused. Since you were born, you were not even halfway through 1 billion blinks of your eyes. Visualize this every time you hear 1 billion of your tax money is unaccounted for. Donge.
Yeah.
Wait, see, mko wengi sana online today. Wait. Kimiak
is here.
First of all, Amwaka, good morning from Mombasa. I'm looking forward to great discussions this week, especially about Sifuna. Kimiak, you don't just come in and tell us things without telling us where you've been, because we were very worried about you. Oh, there you've said it. The things these gadgets can do to us, I blame Ruto. Poleni sana for missing in action, but I'm back, and the gospel is still that Tawe means nothing good will come out of the Kenya Kwanzaa administration. Kimiak, we're very, very happy that you're okay. We've missed you. Karibu sana. That makes my heart glad. And Dennis was worried. Dennis, now you can breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
Sindio?
Yeah.
And everybody else who continues to be in the room. Beja, good morning from Paddington in the UK. Suma says, good morning to Dennis. Welcome back into your Mr. Santisana. Richard Odera says, good morning, Team Spice. Tuned in from Mikindani, Mombasa. And Caroline Yabura, I want to get to everybody today. Says, good morning, Amapenda Sana. Wishing you a blessed day ahead. Isa Kale, glad to see you back, Kimiak. We were worried. Isa, a very good morning to Isa. Yeah, and we see you there, Karibu. Thank you for being in the room this morning. And the Jams Board says bad governance in Kenya fuels corruption, weakens public institutions, and denies citizens essential services. It does indeed. Bishanka says, is the economy stupid? Well, somebody pushes the economy. Yes. It's the cart does not know where to go until it gets the pusher of the cart. Nancy Abura says, good morning, Dennis and Nduh. I thought it was AI spewing nonsense. Kumbe it was real. Hawa wanasiasa wamelewa kabisa. Yeah, it's people's mouths. Hi, good to see you again. Linda Mwananchi, the way to go watch this space. Thomas Osoro, good morning. Joe Mungai says, hello. Eden Dwale has the audacity to incite Kenyans against the Kenyan community and has no apologies to give. Owen Ongalo says, Nduh na choma, add volume. Herbert says, good morning. Kitale was cloud 9. It was crazy. John Kamburu is tuning from Namibia, and Jacob Wina says, good morning. Gekota is tuned in this morning. We see you as well. Bungoma was lit. Whatever you say, Senator Sifuna has taken off. Watching from Miami. Good morning. Welcome back, Nduh. Thank you very much. Engineer Julius Opany. The spirit of Linda Monichi was vibing. Isakale, good morning, TSR. Glad to be here. The lesson from the weekend. Sometimes the fastest way to create a national figure is to keep insisting there isn't one. Nice seeing you back, Nduh. Thank you so much. Dennis says, hi, guys. Happy to join you through YouTube. Say hi to my namesake, Dennis.
Hello.
Dennis. Kimiak is back, Bitter Herb says. And Jose Morens tuned in from Giro. And Felix is also tuned in and says, good morning, Spicens. Woo! Had to get through everybody this morning. That took a while.
Yeah.
I can't resist but to greet everyone. All right. Karibuni sana, kila mtu. And I know that the people who are waving, we are waving and we're saying thank you for being here this morning. Let's get into it proper. We'll take into the headlines in just a bit. But for now, let's look at what's going on with the weather, traffic, and we'll be back in a bit. Good morning.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. The weather with Spice FM.
It's 13 degrees and mostly cloudy into Nairobi. We'll see a high of 23, and it is 14 and cloudy in Nakuru with 15 and cloudy in Nyeri. At 19, it is partly cloudy in Kisumu, and 16 and mostly clear in Kakamega, and it's 13 and cloudy in Eldoret. 23 and mostly cloudy in Mombasa, while Malindi at 24 is sunny. It's 18 and partly sunny into Marsabit, and into Kampala 19 and partly cloudy, and it's 20 and partly sunny into Dar es Salaam. 8 degrees in Johannesburg, and it's mostly clear, and 26 and mostly cloudy in Lagos, while at 16 London is clear, and 31 into Beijing. New York Sunday night is clear at 23. Coming into Monday, we'll see a high of 29 and a low of 21.
Chilled Spice.
Sugar and spice and everything nice. Spice FM.
Spice up your life. Traffic.
All right, a quick start into Monday morning, and we see a little bit of traffic starting to build up in certain parts of the city. Just take a quick look coming off of the Thika Superhighway. We know that there's a lot of movement in different parts of the city today, especially as those concern schools. So we're going to give that shout out to everybody to just be a little bit more careful than usual. All right, so as you're coming into the city via the Thika Superhighway, traffic has already started to build up, and it's heavy this morning. Coming all the way from that Roiro interchange, it's snaking its way along down Thika Superhighway and then into the city this morning. That's going to be one for the books today because it's busy. Also on Kiambu Road today, there's quite some traffic. We'll keep an eye on that as well. Everywhere else seems to be starting off slowly this Monday morning. We'll keep an eye on all of this and try to keep it moving. We'll talk SpiceFM. KE on X, hashtag the Situation Room.
Life hack on SpiceFM brought to you by Gentle Care Baby Pants for the unstoppable baby and for the mother who cares.
Gentle Care, wanna keep your baby dry and clean. Limit bath frequency. Your infant doesn't need much bathing if you wash the diaper area thoroughly during diaper changes. Bathing her more frequently may dry out her skin.
Life hack on SpiceFM proudly brought to you by Gentle Care Baby Pants. World-class premium comfort diapers that feature quick max absorption technology and zigzag channels that distribute wetness evenly, so there's absolutely no sagging. It's smart, it's premium, and it's affordable. Join the unstoppable journey today. Grab a pack of Gentle Care Baby Pants at your nearest supermarket. Gentle Care Baby Pants for the unstoppable baby and for the mother who cares.
So many forward here. Titles are on the line. Rivalries are at their peak. This is the final stretch where legends rise and champions are made. From the Saudi League to the Bundesliga and La Liga. Recharge your monthly subscription today to feel the pressure, feel the passion, feel the game. Every pass, every goal, every moment matters. Don't miss a moment. Renew your subscription and stay in the game. To renew your subscription, dial *858# for self-service or get in touch with our call center on 0719 077 077 for customer care. Buy a StarTimes decoder at any of our dealer shops countrywide. Download the StarTimes On app to enjoy all your favorite shows and stream live channels on the move. StarTimes. Enjoy digital life. Sebastian Allaire.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
All right, so let's tuck into the headlines this morning, and we'll start off on Kenya's bold newspaper, The Standard. And there he is. Grand welcome. Western Kenya turned out in extraordinary numbers at Edwin Sifuna's Linda Mwananchi Brigade rolled through the region, capping the tour with a triumphant homecoming in Bungoma. Without police cordons, hired crowds, or violence, Sifuna commanded rallies with the ease of a seasonal political kingpin, reviving memories of the mass appeal once associated with his late mentor Raila Odinga. Attempts to counter the tour with parallel meetings barely dented the mood. Buoyed by enthusiastic supporters and an endorsement for the presidency, Sifuna has emerged from the weekend looking less like an ambitious senator and more like presidential material. Look, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Even for the pundits and even those who want to come and counter this and say it was like passing cloud, whatever, you can't ignore the mammoth crowds. You can't. You can try, but you can't ignore it.
Mammoth crowd is currency to politicians. And this is just Western. You have to go back to other places Sifuna has been in his countrywide tour and look at those crowds, then compare them with what everyone else is doing. Mm-hmm. That right there is making people scratch their heads.
Yeah. You know how they say the best form of defense is attack?
Yeah.
It's also in the negative, whereby I feel attacked, obviously, because of what somebody else might be doing. And so what I'm going to do as a result of that is try to dilute the potency of this.
Potency.
Nimekwambia nimekula dictionary leo asubuhi. Ngoja. Wait to see what's going to happen. I ate a dictionary for breakfast. So, some of the most powerful pictures came out this weekend, where he was sitting with a young boy who said, Mimi Sisi ni Sifuna, where he was receiving 10 shillings, 20 shillings, 50 shillings in his hand in a most humble manner.
Where culture was equally allowed to play, because there's that young boy who went on top of that because it's circumcision period.
Yes.
And guys were like, yo, you're part of this, go do your thing, you know? And there was no pressure. People were just enjoying the moment and the mood. And message was being sent, whether you like it or not. But you'll want to hate, but you just hate. Go sit there at the corner.
Haters gonna hate. Ooh. So anyway, we're not taking positions here.
No.
What we're saying is that there's a moment here that cannot be blinked away. What was it that somebody said about a billion blinks? You've not blinked a billion times in your life.
True.
And somebody has stolen 1 billion shillings from you. Well, okay. And there's what you talk about on page 2. Sacred knife blessing signal start of the Bukusu circumcision season. It's quite a thing. I remember we read about it, even in my high school.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't here, but it's one of the things that we read about. It's actually a thing that's known outside of Kenya. That's quite moving, and I love it because what it does is that it retains the traditional.
True.
That we've had too many things thrown away from our African culture and tradition, and that to see something like this, a big deal made of it every day, I say go for it all the time. Global coalition calls for UNESCO World Heritage to do what? Civil society organizations from more than 35 countries have urged the governments of Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania to initiate an assessment to have Lake Victoria considered for UNESCO World Heritage status. That's nice, but clear the hyacinth.
Thank you. You must protect the thing first.
Come on.
You gotta protect it. How do you have a car wash next to the lake? Then you want a UNESCO World Heritage.
And they're using the lake water to wash
exactly.
the car.
Then you're asking, hii hyacinth inatoka wapi? Toeni magari hapo kando.
Kwanza.
Yeah.
Jean Ojiro. Okay, I would pronounce it as I would if I was in Nigeria, but I'm thinking that Kenyans would say Ojiro.
Yeah, it's Ojiro.
Ojiro. Wins Kenya Miss Miss Universe crown.
Yeah.
Such a beauty she is. Why lie? She's a fashion model and digital creator. She was crowned Miss Universe Kenya on the 25th. She will represent Kenya at the 75th Miss Universe competition in Puerto Rico after emerging top amongst 15 finalists. Yeah. It's a good thing, no?
It's a good thing.
All right.
At least we have a candidate.
Sindo? Okay. Ebola outbreak nears 3,000 cases as Kenya watches virus push towards South Sudan. We'll talk about that. So this is reincarnation. Sifuna's Western tour fuels Raila successor debate. That if anybody was asking who's the person who's going to come into and you fill or then create his own shoes from the Raila path, well, many could say this is the answer. We'll debate that at 7. How city senators' wave is shaking Mulembe politics. Analysts explain why peace prevailed in Sifuna Western rallies. And Ruto's warning says, you don't know me, I only Jewy.
Jewy. Do you know me?
Don't know
I
me,
am
man.
unbogable.
Don't know me.
Yeah.
I'm still talking anyhow. Don't know me. He's saying you don't know me. Now, somebody's going to get pissed off. Kalonzo's absence from spotlight allows Sifuna to build momentum. And then I'm going to ask if had he been there, would anything have been felt? It's a painful question to ask, but you must ask it.
Yeah.
That there is no entitlement when it comes to politics and power.
True.
That you cannot imagine that just because you've been in the scene for I don't know how many years that people are going to recognize you. I'm just saying.
Let me tell you, politics is where you gotta work your way up. Hii mambo ya kubebwa, as many say, hauwezi kubebwa kila siku. You gotta work your way up.
We'll talk. Because look at Gachagua, for example. The man he's sweating bricks. He's working.
Yeah.
Now, if it was you as a human being, do you imagine that, okay, just because I would recognize you, Dennis, then I just give you after doing all this work? I don't know.
You gotta show what you have. Because
You do.
Even now, if the conversation is show me the amount of votes you have or the influence you have, everybody will come with their report card. This is what I command.
This is what I can do.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. There's a story here. Two pink lines, rather, and it refers to lost dreams. Teen mother carrying the burden alone. This is what we know, that Kenya has the highest number of single mothers in the region and knocking on Africa. So what exactly is the problem here? We also know that today, a morning like this, the highest purchased drug is an emergency contraception on a Monday morning, and it's bought by girls and women between the ages of 15 and 36. Why is this happening? But even while that is being the most sought after drug, we also see that too many teens are getting pregnant. They're still children.
Yep.
You can say whatever you want. A 16-year-old is a child. Batuk is leaving Kenya finally. Now, many would say that you want to question, why wouldn't Kenya continue to be a site where the British can train? But it's a shadow of impunity and how years of alleged atrocities finally led to Batuk's departure. Was it that Kenya refused to process the license for this training to continue in Laikipia? Or was it that Kenya said, you know what, it's too much? I will not forget the blue-eyed boys of this area.
Yeah.
And what does that mean? That there were too many children born out of relationships between British soldiers and Kenyan women.
Yep.
Again, the things that we don't want to discuss, we shall discuss them. In the opinion pages today, Sifuna and Natembeya have injected fresh hope into Luo politics. It's coming in from Joseph Nyaringo, and that's what's on the opinion pages today. While that's going on, WAFCON is also happening in Morocco, and Glasgow is home to the Commonwealth Games, which I was actually watching over the weekend, and I asked myself a question. Why is it that even after the deconstruction of the British Empire, because you know that's what the Commonwealth Games was, is that the British Kingdom sat and said, all my colonies come and perform for me sports. That's what they did. We're still doing it till today. But we're calling it the Commonwealth Games, and people are flying into Glasgow to, you know, perform for an audience. But not to take away from the sportsmen and women who are doing everything that they can and an amazing job to honor their sports. But then that's the question that comes from the Commonwealth Games. All right, over to you, sir.
The more things change, the more they remain the same.
Yep.
Battle for Western is the headline. Now, it is christened as a battleground. ODM has dominated the region, but Raila Odinga's death has upset the status quo. Now, the Linda Mwananchi Brigade, led by Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna, concluded a 2-day tour of Western Kenya yesterday. On a day, President Ruto visited Busia, underlining the region's importance in the 2027 State House contest. Now, in the 2022 elections, Ruto staged an upset by winning Bungoma, polling 250,000 plus votes that proved decisive to the presidential poll victory, with a razor-thin margin over his closest challenger, Raila Odinga. With the 5 western counties so far accounting for 2.92 million registered voters, the country's third largest bloc after Mount Kenya, Nairobi, the scramble for the region is well underway. And then we have 2 pictures where President William Ruto addresses members of the public yesterday after attending the consecration and enthronement of Dr. Vitalis Job Ekuru as the 4th Bishop of the Anglican Church of Kenya Diocese of Katakwa in Amagoro, Busia County. That again is in Western. And this is Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna addressing a Linda Mwananchi homecoming rally in Bungoma town yesterday as the Opposition Brigade wrapped up 2-day political tour of Bungoma and Trans Nzoia counties. So it's a clear image of what was happening the other side of Busia and in Bungoma. And I can see a lot of police officers. The other side, I can't see a single police officer. I can see buses. I can't see buses.
Yeah.
That right there is a statement, a comparison of what was happening over the weekend, right? Now, confusion over varsity fees funding grows. Now, confusion over the government's promise of free university education has deepened after President William Ruto and Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba appeared to contradict each other on the legal framework that will anchor the policy. One asked the question, when the president was speaking, he was speaking out of what advice? Now that you see the cabinet secretary, the implement of the policy is speaking a different language from what the president said. Is this government working together? I always ask myself that question.
Do you want the kosher version or do you want the political version?
The truth.
That there was no plan.
Thank you.
There's no plan, and nobody knows what the hell is going on at the Ministry of Education. And that from a top-down model, there was no plan. And that is dangerous, especially when you're dealing with the futures of children and then older children, old adults who then go into the university system. There's no plan. And I can't entirely blame the president. I will also blame the Ministry of Education, who you told us. Okay, so now when you came out and told us that you don't know the unit cost of education from ECDC to tertiary, you don't know. So have you found out?
They still haven't.
Exactly.
They still haven't.
I beg, they
because
shouldn't
even
disturb
then,
us in
if
the
you
morning,
ask the president how much he's going to be paying for a single student, depending on what course they're doing, he can't tell a unit cost of, say, taking a medical student, taking an engineer, a teacher. How much does it cost for him to come tell us, I'm going to pay for all of you to go to campus?
Go, Jared. They're just disturbing somebody's head. Look. You say you're going to pay. How much are you going to pay?
Exactly.
You don't even know how much you're going to pay because your boys over here don't know how much it costs.
Where's the framework?
I beg.
Anyway,
Dream Jobs Dark Web, the syndicate trapping unemployed youth. So investigations have uncovered a growing network of trafficking syndicate that lure young Kenyans with the promise of lucrative jobs only to force them into producing explicit content. This mostly happens especially when many leave for Southeast Asia. It happens. Kazimaju. Anyway, Adongo dared to dream, made Kenya proud, met harsh end. That's a sad story.
Very sad story.
That's a very sad story.
Hey.
And that's because at some point he couldn't control his temper. Look at what that temper did, because he was immediately dropped by the team.
Yeah.
And from then on, his life just went down the drain.
And he's been deported from the US now.
Yep. President Opposition battle for Mulembe Nation vote that has been expanded on page 4. Ruto dangles goodies in Western amid calls for Oparanya to be the deputy president.
Of what?
Of
Kenya. Sorry.
Deputy president. So President William Ruto's deputy president, because Mulembe Nation is very important, is the only way they will get the votes. Remember, the neighbors, Mashemeji Avikoli, said deputy president position is Marwa. I had to use that. It's Marwa as well, right? So Gachagua unveils the 2027 Mount Kenya poll strategy. Former DP declares his DCP party the dominant political vehicle in Mount Kenya, urges leaders to join it. Voter numbers giving president and his rivals sleepless nights. So President Ruto has complained about low voter registration numbers in his perceived political strongholds. How do you guys expect me to get back here if you are not registering? Question is, what incentives, what have you done for people to register and give you their vote?
I reckon that they're telling you something, but you're not listening.
Yeah.
That silence also implies something. Inaction also is action.
Yeah.
But that's just me. I don't know. I could be talking through my feces.
No, it's true. Why would I waste my time? Kenyans are asking themselves that question. You promised us the other time. You've not done anything. Why would I show up this time round? It's the same rhetoric. Confusion over varsity funding deepens. That is on page 8 has been expanded there. Nduh, we could look at the Star real quick because Sheila Temburu is about to be here.
Ruto woos Teso voters, Sifuna rocks Bungoma base. That's what's being what's here on the front page of the Star this morning. And that's what it looks like. Those numbers, I mean, you can't make that up, can you?
You can't make that up.
That's kind of crazy. Kenya can be Africa's manufacturing hub with the right policies. Really? Yes, this is my friend Sid. He's the BAT boss. He's talking about this. And inside a 6.5 billion payroll fraud draining Kenya state coffers. You see what we're talking about? You have not blinked a billion times. You have not blinked. I love that.
Yeah.
I need to go back into the comments and see who that was. You've not blinked a billion times in your life. In your life, you've not blinked a billion times. And I just did like 7. But somebody has taken 6.5 billion shillings. That's supposed to be meant to do things, pay police officers, and they've put it in their what? In their pockets.
And that is just one agency.
Yes. And
now
that for
think
some
about
reason
20 more.
For some reason, that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but somebody's reckon that's fine. Yeah, and they're not going to really do anything about it. If they do, I'll eat my sock. Why tribalism? Is making hospitals worse. Inside the hospital even again. Okay, you know what?
Takudunga dawa ki Nigeria. Kuja takudunga kijaluo.
Na ya fisi je? Oh God, too soon.
But the fisi anadunga wapi? Kwa kichwa. Fikiria.
You gotta love the cartoon in the Star this morning. There's chicken everywhere. You gotta love that this morning. So people are being chased, other chickens are being brought in, and there's a chicken who is just not even a mature chicken. Look for the Star and then figure out who the immature chicken is. Good morning, 7 a.m.
Spice up your life. The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning, this is the news. I'm Sheila Temburu. Health CS Aden Duale has maintained that he will not appear before the NCAC over allegations of inflammatory remarks unless former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is also investigated. Speaking in Garissa, Duale accused the NCIC of applying double standards, arguing that Gachagua should first be questioned over alleged hate speech targeting the Somali and Muslim communities. He also defended remarks made in Mandera, saying they were intended to rally support for the government.
I want to tell NCIC, the day you are going to summon Rigathi Gachagua is the day you are going to summon Aden Duale. Siku ile mimi nitaenda kwa NCIC, lazima tuandamane na Rigathi Gachagua. Kama ni mtu ameongea hate speech, number 1 Kenya ni Rigathi Gachagua. And I am not apologetic about it. Hata mkitaka mnitukane kwa social media. Wakati Ruto alikutana na sisi, viongozi wa North Eastern na wakaji wa Mandera, wewe ulisema rais amekutana na Al-Shabaab. Usipolete Rigathi Gachagua kwa ile matusi amefanyia jamii ya Wasomali na Waislamu, mimi hamwezi kuandikia barua. And I will not comply.
Duale's remarks come after the NCAC announced it had opened investigations into complaints over his alleged inflammatory speech in Mandera County. Meanwhile, speaking in Embu, PLP leader Martha Karua called on President William Ruto to dismiss Duale over the remarks.
Mimi nauliza Rais Daktari William Ruto, kama hiyo sio fikira zako, basi uliza waziri wako aombe msamaha, hawezi akatusi jamii yote ya Mount Kenya.
President William Ruto has assured Kenyans that the 2027 general elections will be peaceful, saying the government will not tolerate violence before, during or after the polls. Speaking in Busia County, Ruto urged Kenyans not to allow political differences to undermine national peace. He warned that security agencies will take firm action against agonism and ensure all politicians conduct their activities without intimidation or violence.
I want to assure you as the people of Kenya that we will have peaceful elections next year. Tumekubaliana hawa goons tuwashughulikie wote. Hakuna mtu ataruhusiwa kuendesha uhalifu na kuharibu amani katika taifa letu la Kenya. Wale wenye wako na agenda waeleze agenda zao. Wale wako na mpango waeleze mipango yao.
Sena East MP Junet Mohammed has alleged that MPs were bribed to support the impeachment of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua in October 2024. Speaking during a UDA ODM convention in Kakamega, Junet claimed Kericho Senator Aaron Cheriot was in charge of the money allegedly distributed to MPs and senators. He further alleged that some legislators squandered the cash instead of investing it.
Wakati tulikuwa tunafukuza Gachagua kazi, kuna kitu ilitembea hapo huko bunge. Wacha niseme ukweli. Kuna kitu ilitembea nini? Na accounting officer alikuwa mtu anaitwa Aaron Cheriot, ndio alikuwa accounting officer. Wengine nimeona wanarukaruka hapa, walikamata hizo vitu na hawakujenga boma. Tafadhali, kila saa impeachment haikuji. Kama umepata kitu kwa impeachment ya Gachagua, tafadhali jenga boma mzuri. Ile boma nimeona na pesa ya Gachagua haitoshani. Kuna hesabu imepotea.
And NAT Secretary General Collins Oyo has warned that teachers may boycott this year's national examinations unless the government clears outstanding payments from last year's exams. Oyo said teachers are owed about 1.5 billion shillings in marking allowances and accused the Ministry of Education of delaying payment despite funds reportedly being available.
Imagine after invigilating exams, supervising exams, another examination is coming and you have not been paid. Is that fair? I sat with Mbadi yesterday and he told me something that surprised me. He told me it was a clean 1.5 billion that was given to pay supervisors and invigilators. You have not been paid. And the Treasury knows that you have been paid. Even as we sat with the PS education on our tour last week, our grievance was about teachers going back to invigilate exams, to supervise exams, police officers going to take care of exams, and they have not been paid. How shall it work?
His remarks come days after Basic Education PS John Ololtua said the government was finalizing arrangements to clear pending payments for 2025 KCSE invigilators and supervisors. And that's the news where I'm Sheila Tembur.
SpiceFM, Nakuru.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
He is himself actually has admitted that he bribed members of parliament, so...
he admitted that he bribed members of parliament?
Well, when he said...
The government.
Yeah, when he said that he gave the 10 million was for what?
We're always quick to point faults in somebody else before you look at your own faults as a person.
If it was Kanu's day, hii amuka naye leo, ungekuwa umeenda bali sana hii. So and we must celebrate you.
There are 600 million people now globally estimated to be living with diabetes in the world. So it is a major health problem. It's the largest single disease rising pandemic that we're dealing with right now.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation. The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
Members of parliament, they go to settle, they just promised, they get given tea, mandazi, and 100,000. That's not development.
External borrowing, 589 billion. Are we on the same page? What did parliament pass?
If anything happened to our president today, God forbid, that man would become president. Na ndio alilenga hizo stories za Shakahola.
The real thing is our constitution has only one person who is accountable to us.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
Parliament has got powers. Let me break it down. The National Assembly can initiate an impeachment of the president.
This same National Assembly.
Yes. That's our constitution.
This is just a continuation of the previous administration, which Ruto was part of. President Uhuru himself openly said that we're losing 2 billion daily. Daily. I mean, come on. Are you saying that we don't have a central bank?
If we look at Kenya, both public-private sector, that figure is ranging between 30 to 40%, right?
I think it's clear that the government of Kenya is living beyond its means.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
A very good morning to you, and coming in at 8 minutes after 7 o'clock. Very lovely to have you in the Situation Room this Monday morning. It's the 27th of July, and at this hour, as we get into our conversations, we're going to be looking at the race to State House. Both our guests are in the studio this morning. I want to say for the first time in the Situation Room for both of you. And then tell me if I'm lying. Elijah Sawa is a youth leader, UDA, and he joins us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
And Evans Wafula, political analyst. Very good morning to you.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for the invite.
Karibu sana. Thank you both of you for being here. We've come off an interesting weekend, looking into the politics of it all, and we'll get into that conversation this morning. But before we do that, even though everybody went west, Aseto went somewhere else. He'll tell you where that is, and then we'd love to hear your interpretation of his proverb.
Today we are in Malawi. It is considered to be the warm heart of Africa, reflecting the warmth of its people. Now, one thing that stands out in the country is Lake Malawi is 20% of it covers the land of the country. And in there is where you'll get different species across the world. Majority of the species you'll only find in that lake. So if you love Ndonga deep diving, snorkeling,
yeah,
that's where you go to. But the proverb that we get this morning, always remember, empty seats are better than wrong company. Always remember, empty seats are better than wrong company. How would you interpret it, Sai?
Thank you, Dennis. So how I look at it, because essentially what you mean is that you'd rather be alone than to be with people who give you the wrong advice. And that is how I would interpret it. Like, you'd rather not have anyone supporting you at all than have support from hyenas or people who are there to take advantage of you.
I think that's a great animal that you've chosen.
Just from an abstract, I would think about self-love. That you'd rather love yourself, like yourself, be able to do your own stuff before you able to maybe bring people in or share with people. So I think it's more of like empty seats are better than bad company. For me, I think it's almost about self-individualization.
Asante sana, well interpreted.
Indeed. That was fun. Okay, so let's get into the conversation this morning. And we're looking at State House, the road to State House 20, or the race rather, to State House 2027. And the question that we're asking, that everybody's asking, if we're going to go by the crowds that we saw over the weekend, if we're going to go by the things that we heard, if we're going to see the mobilization that happened, is Nairobi Senator Sifuna is his presidential bid a game changer come next year? Is it a game changer? We'll start with you, Elijah.
So Nduh, I don't think there is any presidential bid per se yet in Sifuna. I strongly believe so because, it's not easy to mount into a solid presidential option in this country. Largely, we normally have more of 2 to 3 horse race. So when I look at it today, where Sifuna sits is very far from a serious presidential candidate, and I'll tell you why. When you look at it, one, a serious presidential candidate needs to have a solid base.
Okay.
So far, Sifuna has no base. What they are trying to do is to build a euphoria that Western Kenya is his base. But when you look at it, he's still far from it. Number 2, he needs to have consistent and organic following and also very, very solid and I'd say independent financing. When you look at it, so far we are being told that Sifuna is being financed through M-Pesa tills by Kenyans who are paying 10 shillings. And yesterday we even saw Kenyans contributing money to him around his vehicle. But when I look at it, honestly speaking, is that because I'm running for MP in Nandi Hills. And I know very well what it means to amount a logistical financing for campaign. It's not easy even for just MP. Hiring a chopper from Wilson's to Bungoma, flying from Bungoma to another place, and coming back one day is over 2 million shillings for one chopper. Linda Mwananchi had over 3 choppers. They had tens of vehicles, gaslers. I can tell you for sure, the 10 shillings, the 2 million that was contributed by Kenyans in the last 1 week could not even do half of the job. And looking into the future, that's not going to happen. Finally, is having a very solid political infrastructure in terms of a political party. And even following and structures. Today in Linda Mwananchi, we are being told that the governor of Siaya, Orengo, is the party leader, and Sifuna is the presidential candidate. I don't know what Babu Owino is. So there is still a lot of arithmetics to be done around that. So not yet for me, not yet.
And what about you, Evans?
Okay, I really disagree with him because if you look at, for me, Sifuna is like the Senegalese president, Faye, being a tax collector, coming into the scene with nothing. And that's what I'm seeing about Sifuna. Sifuna is riding on the fact that young, jobless, hopeless youth who are yearning for change. And he has actually realized that there's a vacuum that now it's more of generational moment in our Kenyan politics. We're used to the old guards. We're used to the old way of doing politics. But I think he's representing what I think when the Gen Z went to the street and they were talking about leaderless, I think they're now able to see that they can resonate with somebody who is young, somebody who is not experienced but ambitious. And I think that's the most critical thing, that Sifuna understands that what he needs to do now is to appeal not only to the Luya or the Mulembe nation, but to cut across the Kenyan, the social fabric of the Kenyan society, being able to appeal to every people. And you can see that from the Linda Mwananchi Brigade. I think it's not only that, look at the people who are there. I mean, they cut across the country. And I think that's what people have been expecting, and have been lacking that. The fact that he went to Bungoma, I think, and the endorsement that he got yesterday from Musikari Kombo, it's very critical. I mean, I come from that background of... it is more of a ritual. Me, yesterday, what I saw is more of a ritual than just endorsing him. Because for the first time, I think, after only Raila could galvanize such support. And I saw yesterday that, and even in Transoya, that what Sifuna was doing is that he was trying to awaken the population there. But what we expect, and I think in a few weeks, we're going to witness a lot of defections. And mostly from even the ruling party itself, from Ford Kenya, from other parties that feel now they need to align with this generational political landscape.
I mean, someone would look at, because what happened over the weekend in Bungoma is exactly what we saw it. But you equally have to go back to previous rallies that Linda Mwananchi Brigade has had. So you remember in Mombasa, go to Kisumu, you have to go to Kajiado, you know. And you look at all these meetings in terms of how natural it is, how organic it is, you know. And even now, when you talk about campaign financing, for a very long time, campaign financing in this country has been seen as one of the ways within which money laundering takes place, because nobody ever comes forth to tell us where that money came from that they're spending. But through Linda Mwananchi, now we're seeing something different, where one would argue the people are contributing towards my campaign. IEBC has set the cap at 4 billion. But are we going further to ask the question, this 4 billion that you're getting, where is it from? Do you have receipts? Do you have withdrawals from bank on how you're spending this money? So is Linda Mwananchi then coming forth to change how campaigns will be done in the country moving forward?
Dennis, fair point, and I really hope, as a young person in this country who still believes that we have a great future as a country, I would really wish to believe that what is happening is a paradigm shift in terms of how our campaign will be financed, how our electorates are reasoning, how Kenyans are owning up their political leaders, and removing these capturing of ideas by people who are wealthy and financing politicians. Then eventually they come to ask for favors in terms of tenders, and they do misappropriation, they cause corruption. People build a classroom that you could build for 1 million with 5 million simply because they financed your campaign. So as someone who really believes in this country, I'd want to believe that that is what is happening. But as Ivan said, that he tried to put Sifuna as where Faye was in Senegal. But remember, for Faye, the real candidate was Sonko. Osman Sonko was the candidate that had the following, and when he was stopped from running, similarly, the way we are seeing what is happening with the likes of Gachagua, not being allowed to run, and what Osman Sonko did was just to hand over his following to Faye. And you saw what happened the other day when Sonko started to increasingly change how Senegal politics is being run. Faye withdrew his support, and the following day was elected as a Speaker of the National Assembly and potentially has power to even impeach him. And you never know, maybe he's coming in to take over from him. So what I saw was borrowed political support, which was hidden as organic support. What I can tell you for sure is that if today you as Dennis, we saw what Gen Zs tried to do, the likes of Morara Kebasu and the entire team, they tried to go around and look for support, but eventually they didn't get it. Because I can assure you today, if you go to any city in this country and you don't mobilize, you are not coming with a lot of, let me call it lagis, many 4x4 vehicles, very nice sound, crowds, motorbikes, people are mobilized, it's well publicized, the artwork is good, there is branding. If you don't do that, nobody will take you seriously. You can see what is happening with Baraga and all these other people. So honestly speaking, is that for you to amount to what you are seeing Sifuna is today, there is a very, very strong hand behind him in terms of financing.
And is that an issue?
So the issue that I have with that is that we need to see him the way we see all the other politicians, because that's not different with William Ruto, that's not different with any other presidential candidate that we've had. So Sifuna is not giving us any alternative as young people.
To do what? To do what exactly?
Because the alternative that we are really looking for, if we have two choices that we have to make. We have to either be realistic and stick to what is possible, or chart a new way forward, and radically so. If you want to go to that route of saying we want to stop how politics is currently being done and look for a totally new leadership, then a totally new leadership would not come from a Siaya governor who has a whole government to run and is busy in Bungoma saying that he wants power to come and do things well. Yet he has executive power. He's one of the governments that we have. He could show us what he could do within that position. Babu Owino, I was in Son with Babu Owino. I know the character of the gentleman. He is not going to give us any new alternatives. This is someone I know. We've seen Sifuna, what he's doing in Senate, and some of the stance he's had. I can't tell you today that Sifuna, honestly, is a totally, it represents what we think as young people.
So if that argument is to be taken to its logical conclusion, then you could actually say then that William Ruto as well would not be able to offer anything new for Kenya.
I mean, and I haven't actually pushed to say that William Ruto is offering a totally new way of doing politics. He's just doing politics the way ideally politics is being done in Kenya today, and what we've
He's
been
just doing it the way it's being done.
The way it's being done.
And from what you're saying is that that's not acceptable.
Not necessarily acceptable. What I'm saying is he's not changing how politics is done in Kenya. The same way politics was done in 1992, 1997, 2013 is exactly the same way William Ruto is doing, and it's exactly the same way Sifuna is doing.
Exactly. So what you're saying is that everybody across board needs to do it differently.
Yes.
And right now, nobody is offering a solution. Nobody is offering a solution that Kenyans need.
Not really. In terms of actual solutions that we are looking for as Kenyans, in terms of building this country and improving justice, the independence of the arms of government, development, I'd say that we've sort of accepted as a country to move with the pace that we've been moving from 1963 upwards. Nobody has taken a different trajectory. What we're looking for and mostly what Gen Zs were looking for, if you look at their ideals, they're looking for a government that would run 100% devoid of corruption. They're looking for a government that would be entirely independent. The parliament is entirely independent from the executive, and the judiciary is entirely independent. That's what the young people are looking for. The young people are looking for a result-oriented government where when you pay 2.5% in tax, you get the same quality in terms of housing, you get the same quality in terms of roads, etc. And I can't tell you today that I can't sit here and tell you that what Gen Zs were looking for is what Sifuna is going to offer. So what I see is same. I mean,
it's interesting that you say that. I think your party leader might be interested to know what your position is.
I totally.
And by the way, before maybe I hand over to you, what I don't want you to confuse what I'm saying is, I'm not trying to say that I'm denying that William Ruto is worth my support. No, he is, because that is my reality today. And what I'm just saying is that Sifuna is not any different. I don't have a reason to focus on what he's doing because it's not different.
Ofula.
I really depart a lot from your point of view. I think, as I mentioned, that this is a generational moment in the way politics is being done in Kenya. And you see, we've always been saying that, for example, that the youth do not participate in election. We've seen them coming now, registering in large numbers. But the question has always been that the issue of leaderless is being now answered with somebody they feel they can resonate with. Sifuna at 40s, they feel that this is a person we can resonate with. He listens, he understands our language, he understands our plight. And that's why you've had Sifuna talk about that, for example, the youth do not want to see houses or roads, but they want money in their pocket. They want to feel that they can have economic emancipation. They want to have money to be able to do what is basic for them. And there's a huge population of young people out here who feel hopeless. And that's where he's coming in. But you also understand the task ahead of him. You've talked about, we've used the example of Senegal. And it's exactly what is going to play here. If Gachagua, you feel that he's going to be locked out, then there's no problem if Sifuna is handing it over to Sifuna. And that's why Sifuna understands that it's not only about him, but he has to, again, talk across the political divide and build coalition of the willing, so that he can be able also to put in everybody in his quest for state house.
Wafula, if we talk about how campaigns or how politics has been played in the country for a very long time, the reason why I'm seeing something different, in my opinion, is the fact that for the very first time we're seeing a leader who's telling Onanchi, they've said I don't have money, but the money will be given to me for campaign by you, and goes further ahead and receives it. When you talk about branding, as Sarah said, we know of Kenyans who've said, I will offer my graphic design to you for free. There are those who are saying, there are even others who decamped from ODM and said, I'm going to be a DJ to you, and I'm going to offer my services. I'm going to offer sound and everything else. So when you surmount everything together, then you're looking at a citizen-led campaign where people will say, we own this leader because we played a role in him getting there in one way or the other,
Yeah.
And that is a departure from what we've seen in this country, where someone will come with their billions without explaining where it's coming from, and they would be voted in. Is this then a game changer because we say we want it to be like them? If you look at even the US elections, there are donations. People go out and they're
people buying dinner for $1 million.
For $1 million.
Yeah.
And that is how campaigns are done. Are we seeing a departure from how things have been happening before, and now a citizen-led agenda campaign being pushed by Wananchi?
Absolutely. I mean, our politics has been run like sort of a club of the wealth and the rich. But now you see, we are departing from that, where people, the sense of ownership, that we own the process, the so-called people's president. Sifuna exemplifies that humility, that you saw yesterday, a young girl who just came up on the car and they were able to raise money for this young girl. At the same time, people are fundraising for this is what people want to see. They don't want to see that our politics is driven by people who you don't know how they got their money, but then it looks like power or rising to power is an enterprise. So we are going to make our politics not being an enterprise, but being people-driven, being politics that is driven by the people. But nowadays, if you talk about anybody going for a political seat, it's about how much money has that person made. My friend started by talking about hiring a chopper. Probably Sifuna I saw another man using a donkey going to vote. There was a young man who used a bicycle. So I think the issue of money and politics is what is being redefined here. And I think the young generation, the young people, what we are saying is that maybe they are departing from that, and that's going to be good for democracy.
Sawa, is it scary? Is it scary to imagine that the people of Kenya are opening their mouths and establishing their voice, and maybe that's why it's met with, a lot of negativity? Is this a scary thought?
There is the reality and there is what is being played in the gallery. If indeed, so when you look at it, me, I sit in both ends. I was raised in the village. I'm in the village every 2 weeks or every week because of my interaction with the people there. The people who sit online, on Twitter, in these cities, they may actually not feel how much we have over two different sect of people. And I can tell you, in every 10 young people, one person has the education of the people who are tweeting and the luxury and the comfort and the exposure of the people tweeting. 9 of them are still in the village, hoping that they would land a job, they would land someone to sponsor them to get a good education, that they would get government recognize their talent, that they would get a leader who would come and open doors for whatever vision they have. So all these things are only happening to the one person out of 10. So the 9 are still left behind. I would really wish that when we are talking about all these things, we would actually see what is happening in the ground. If you go to Bungoma, for instance, and you focus on a YouTube live where people contribute 100 shillings, even if 1,000 people contributed that money. Of course, we only saw it for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
In total sum, whatever was raised there would be less than 10,000. The monies that was used to mobilize that crowd, I can tell you, is nothing less than 2 million.
So this is the thing that I want to ask is that I think the focus that you're placing is on the actual shillings that were collected, as opposed to the symbolism of the fact that the people of Kenya
it's the symbolism that I have the problem with.
So why do you have a problem with the symbolism?
Because it's not the truth.
The people who were in Bungoma, the pictures that we saw were not manufactured. Those were not people who were tweeting. Those were actual human blood-thumping bodies in those villages. I'm going to talk about villages because that's what you brought up.
Yes.
Those were the people, they were there and they were banking on a hope. The thing that brings people out into the street from the village is hope. And that's what we're talking about. And that's why I come back to my question, is it a scary thought to imagine that the people of Kenya still have hope and still say that it's possible and want to give it another go and say, perhaps this is the guy who could do this? Is that a scary thought?
I would be scared if Sifuna would have gone with his one vehicle that he uses, gone there or landed in a donkey the same way he says. No oomph, no lagis, no noise. People are not mobilized. Border people are not mobilized to bring people to the city. People are not given money to come and hand over in those kasukus and say they are contributing. I would be scared. But because I know what is happening,
saying that the
that's
people
manufactured.
So you're saying the people
whole
who
thing
gave
is manufactured.
So how do you know that the people who gave this money were given? Did you see this? Did you?
I can assure you. Assure you, this is manufactured because I've been there.
Okay. You were in Bungoma over the weekend?
I wasn't this weekend.
Okay.
I haven't attended Linda Mwananchi rally, but I've attended so many political rallies. I've attended
who was doing
URP
what?
rallies, ODM rallies,
UDA rallies,
Jubilee.
So
and I can tell you.
So hang on. You have seen with your eyes in UDA, Jubilee, URP rallies, ODM rallies, where people were given money and said, you go and contribute.
You would be a stranger in Jerusalem if you think that is not what is happening.
Hang on,
I can tell you for sure.
Hang on, because you have made the claim.
Yes.
Not me.
Yes.
So I am asking you where you were that you saw individuals maybe in a vehicle, in bags, giving people money and saying, go and give money on the stage. You made the claim, so I'm asking you to back it up.
They have said it themselves. When they divided these politicians, I remember that the day Sifuna left ODM, Junet was telling him that when did Uhuru's, and Sifuna answered that, indeed, when did Uhuru's money become bad money? When he was giving us money when we were in Azimio, it wasn't bad money, now it's bad money. And there is evidence, everything is leading to that direction.
Okay, so
I can assure you,
the
former president Uhuru Kenyatta is financing Linda Mwananchi.
My initial question
and Linda Mwananchi.
Allow me to ask the question.
Yes.
My initial question, and I'd like us to stay there.
Yes.
The people of Kenya who were in the villages, who were coming out to these rallies, give me an example historically, and history is even yesterday, historically, of these people who were giving out this money in the 100s or the 50s had been given the money in their hands and then they were told, go and donate.
I can assure you that's what is happening. You saw in the videos. This was live coverage. There is a gentleman who was hit riding his bicycle on the road, minding his business. Do you think that person didn't know that there was a Sifuna. Why didn't he go and contribute? He was minding his business. But the people who were mobilized in the towns are the ones who came close to the vehicle. I can assure you, when you look at those pictures very well, the same people we'll find in Kisumu are the same people there. And those are the people who are contributing monies just to make it look like there is some sort of organic liking that's happening in Sifuna, and that now all of a sudden the people of Mulembe have seen a savior in Sifuna that they've never seen in all their leaders from Masinde Muliro.
Were the people in All Kalau last weekend who were giving their 10 shillings also given that money by Gachagwa's people to deliver?
They told us that they were giving out monies that they were given.
By UDA.
I think that's what they said.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, either way, they were giving out money that they were given.
We both agree that there's a way politics has been done in this country for a very long time, right? And there is also an agreement that it is not the right thing. But one asks the question then, can a people rise and say, we have done things the same way and we can't continue doing it that way and expect different results? That today Wananchi themselves are saying, this is our agenda. Case in point, All Kalau. This is our agenda. Let's do things differently. We are seeing the same as Sifuna has gone back for homecoming. And the people are there. I mean, are we just afraid to accept that Kenyans finally are charting a different path moving forward? And they are communicating that it is no longer business as usual. You're either with us or you are on your own.
Yeah, I think Sifuna is also trying to dismantle the ethnic balkanization of our politics. That we've always been tribal, ethnic. People will talk about the Kikuyu, the Kalenjin, but Sifuna is trying to dismantle. There's a lot of hope among young voters in Sifuna, especially at a time like this when the social fabric of the country is shaken and our democracy is very threatened. So I think Sifuna is really coming to just offer that. I think the question of money, whether who is financing what, who is not financing what, that doesn't actually play so much. I think what is important is that people are realizing now that we need to even elect. And this is not only about the presidency. I'm think being a young person, and you're going for a parliamentary seat, I'm expecting a lot of young people are coming to take positions in the next election. So I think the most important thing here is for us to know that, for example, the traditional political chessboard that we are used to is really is moving, is tilting. And Sifuna is able to prove that. I think the likes of Wetangula and Mudavadi must be really, really thinking very hard what happens next, including Atwoli, because I think Bungoma is the bedrock of the Western politics, Western Kenyan politics. And once the majority Bukusu decide where to go, then you will actually realize that, and they have always been blamed that they have divided their votes, that they are not actually they're not the determining factors, but they have always been, Luya vote has always been divided. But I think now this is a clear indication that maybe they are trying to galvanize their vote into one basket. So let's wait and see what happens. Sifuna has not yet even formed a party. He indicated yesterday that might be something new is coming. This is just a movement. So let's see what happens. And that's why I was saying that once probably maybe he comes up with a party, we expect a lot of defections. I saw the likes of Kina Wangamati, Tim Wanyonyi also endorsing Sifuna. So there's actually a Sifuna moment, a Sifuna effect that is actually now making getting its inroads in Western politics.
Okay. Yeah. I'd like to take a break at this point and we'll come back and continue with this conversation. And going back to the people is the question that we seem to want to run away from. But what do the people of Kenya actually want? And are they changing their mind today? We'll continue with this conversation when we come back. Stay with us.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Traffic.
All right, so that traffic on the Thika Superhighway today is not fun. It is chocker blocked and it is bumper to bumper through and through. As you come out from that Roiro interchange, you're going to come past Kasarani and then out towards the Outer Ring Junction, snaking its way into the city this morning. And also traffic on Kiambu Road is starting to build up as well. Traffic coming into the city from Limuru Road is also quite busy. And on the A104 inbound to the city out of Westlands, we're going to see a lot of traffic here this morning. As you cross over from James Gishuru through towards the Red Hill Link Road, you're not going to have too much of an issue there. But then as you come off of Limuru Road, it'll be busy. On Jago Road this morning, coming in from Manyanja Road, crossing over Outer Ring is busy as you get towards Landis. Haile Selassie not doing too badly now, but we're just knocking on traffic hour. Let's see what happens as we get into it proper. The Southern Bypass looking good, but there is some traffic coming off of Ngong Road. It'll take you through. Langata Road is also busy, coming off of Uhuru Gardens, and this is all coming off of Mombasa Road. So one to watch. Outer Ring also pretty busy as well. And North Airport Road coming in through to Embakasi in and outbound is busy. All right, we're in traffic hour. Let's see what happens as we get through it, and we'll talk. Keep things moving. Talk to us. SpiceFM KE on X hashtag The Situation Room.
Life hack on SpiceFM brought to you by Gentle Care Baby Pants for the unstoppable baby and for the mother who cares.
Gentle Care, wanna keep your baby dry and clean. Research demonstrates that developmentally appropriate play with parents and peers is a singular opportunity to promote the social, emotional, cognitive, language, and self-regulation skills that build executive function and a pro-social brain. The more time children spend in unstructured quiet play in the toddler and preschool years, the better their self-regulation abilities at ages 4 to 5 and 6 to 7 years.
Life hack on SpiceFM proudly brought to you by Gentle Care Baby Pants, world-class premium comfort diapers that feature quick max absorption technology and zigzag channels that distribute wetness evenly, so there's absolutely no sagging. It's smart, it's premium, and it's affordable. Join the unstoppable journey today. Grab a pack of Gentle Care Baby Pants at your nearest supermarket. Gentle Care Baby Pants for the unstoppable baby and for the mother who cares.
A whole decade of style, flavor, and unforgettable memories. The Hub Karen is turning 10 and you're invited to the ultimate celebration. Join the Hub 10 Million Step Challenge on Saturday, July the 18th, or indulge at the Table for 10 Food Festival on Sunday, August the 2nd. Come celebrate 10 years of community and experiences. Head over to the Hub Karen today.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
It's now 28 minutes to 18 minutes, I beg your pardon, to 8 o'clock. And we continue our conversation this morning. And I think, unfortunately, when we look at a people and the nation state, as it were, what gets lost is actually the will of the people. It gets lost in all of this, whether they're arguments for or against, pros or cons. And that I want to ask, Sawe, that when you see people coming out, is it just the support for an individual, or is it on the hope that they're riding that something different can actually happen in a political dispensation in which they're involved in? Can you see that? Or is it, again, you say that people are willing to allow themselves to be used as elements or agents of manufacture?
So we are not leaving that option, that there are people, and unfortunately young people, because these are the people without jobs, they are the people with energy, and they are easily used and lured. And that's why the whole issues around goonship and being used in politics and all that. However, the will of the people is still supreme. And I hold on to the hope that the people of Kenya really know what they want. They know what they want. And that is why even Linda Mwananchi are really struggling to try and paint a picture that they are a microwave political alignment, that all of a sudden they are the hope and they've been the most popular within a week and they are all over the place, and saying that they have the backing of the Western people. But I think how the people of Kenya express what they want is differently. One of the ways that I would say the people of Kenya have continuously expressed what they want is through the different elections that we've had. I want you to go back to the 2022 elections. And William Ruto spent a lot of time coming up with what the Kenyan person would resonate with, the bottom-up economic transformational model. He talked about how you do housing, how we do the universal health coverage, how we would change how the funding model would be done, how the economy would grow. Well, today, he's had at least 3.5 years in office.
And 50% of those things have been touched out the window.
I'd say it depends on how you look at it.
No, they have been.
Sure.
I'll give you an example. Just the other day, this funding model that you mentioned, the president himself stood and said, we will fund, because the funding model does not work.
And do you know why it didn't work?
Because it was not planned properly from the very beginning.
The way this funding model had been designed was that the first was to get a metric of who is being funded and how much is this person able to raise. And the way they design it, and it was designed, by the way, by the parliamentarians, how the funding would be done. It's an act. And what they did is that they were saying if you are able to fund yourself, then you'll have a lower loan, a lower grant, then more loan. And eventually when you get out of school, you come and repay. The same way we got loans from HELB and we came back to pay. But you see, the biggest problem that we faced in such programs is in the truth, the lack of truth. Most of the Kenyans who are actually able to pay for school fees didn't say that they are able to pay, and therefore everybody was needy, and therefore everyone needed to be funded 100%. What the funding model helped, although it had to be thrown out of the window, what it helped is that it actually came up with a true picture of the cost of each degree in our public universities. Because I used to ask myself, Nduh, and not Nduh, but Nduh, how
you could ask Nduh as well, but okay.
I don't want to ask Nduh. I used to ask myself, how come a degree, same degree, Bachelor of Commerce, in Strathmore University, you'd get it at a minimum of 2 million. Same degree in University of Nairobi, they expect the lecturers and the infrastructure, the tools and everything needed to train people in University of Nairobi to afford a BCom degree at 120,000, which is not even one semester in Strathmore. And what happened? We had our universities closing because of debts from KPLC, debts because of water. The lecturers were becoming demotivated. They were running to private institutions. The quality of education went down, and we had challenges all over the place. When the president came, he said, first, let's know the true cost of what it actually cost to study these courses and get a quality person coming out of the schools. And after that, they did a model that they thought would actually be able to pay. But unfortunately, because people gave the wrong information, even someone who went to private institution would now all of a sudden they said they are not able to afford it. And what has the government said? The government has said, then let's give 100% grant. What we need to do is go back to what HELB used to do, but now increase the allocation to HELB to match what the universities need. Which for me, let me just finish, Dennis, by saying, which for me, it is not wrong as a leader to run, and when you get in the middle and you realize that what you are doing is not giving the results that you expected, you change and proceed with the people. Because the most important thing is to move with the people. If it's not working, change it. You don't have to force it. And that's one sign of good leadership. And personally, if there is one thing that I appreciate William Ruto for, is that he's always taken time to reflect. Let me finally say that that's not the only metric that I can say the people of Kenya are still in control. The other metric that gives me hope that the people of Kenya are still in control is how the people of Kenya have continuously refused programs that they don't want, accepted programs that they want. I remember the opposition continuously said that SHA does not work. When Rigathi Gachagua was the deputy president, SHA was working. The moment he stepped out, SHA is not working. But the people of Kenya went back and stood their ground and said, SHA is working because we know these are the people who've come out of the hospital, they've been paid for all these. What we just need to do is to continue improving it.
You see, Ofula, for me, I have no problem with projects that come through. The only bond of contention usually is the Constitution itself demands that wananchi are carried through and become part and parcel of every new thing that is being implemented, you know. When you talk about even the funding model, we were told there's a funding model that is here. This is what the government thinks will work. But did the key stakeholders in these spaces, were they involved for them to give their input on what needs to change, what needs to be fixed? Because just like SHA, many are saying, we never needed a new program altogether. All we needed to do is to fix NHIF that we had for it to work. When it comes to help, now we are going back to help that we said is not working and fixing what we ought to have fixed in the first place. Yet there is money that has been spent in new funding model. And to me as a Kenyan, that is money lost. That is money wasted that we ought not to have wasted before. There is reason why in a lot of even medicine, there is trials that are made before something is certified to be good for the public. It is only in Kenya where we are coming up with new things without trying to see whether it will work or not. But now that you're talking about the current campaign financing, campaigns that we're seeing, one thing that wananchi are asking is, are we being heard? Are we being listened to? Do they know our agenda? Because for a very long time, it has been, this is my agenda for you. But are we coming back to hear what wananchi is taking as their agenda and go with that to convince that you can implement that which they have prescribed upon themselves?
I think the biggest challenge we've had, I don't like using this word, the people of Kenya, because most of the time we say the Kenyans have said, Kenyans have done this. I think there's a thin line between what is political party manifesto vis-a-vis government programs.
Yes.
And you find many times when political parties assume power, they confuse that government programs that have been running are supposed, like for example, the plan. Probably it was a well-thought idea, but the implementation is being implemented from a political sphere as opposed to a proper government program. And that's why we have things like, for example, Nyota. I don't understand why you would be dishing money to people and not being able to give free education or fund universities, yet you're having programs where people are lining up to collect 25,000?
Yeah.
And I think you could do, so that's where the problem is. I think and I thought probably with ODM merging or whatever broad-based, they would harmonize their manifestos. Because I think even ODM itself, within UDA, within the broad-based, has a manifesto. I don't know whether they have merged their manifesto or it's just the 10-point agendas. So I think we need to depart from political party manifesto to understanding national programs. For now, we are talking about going to Singapore. It was not initially there in the plan, but it has somehow gotten itself now. It's part of what the plan is and entails. When President Ruto was campaigning, he never told us he's going to take us to Singapore. He had a clear, what they call the plan. But now all this has been overtaken to something now called that now we are going to Singapore, now we are going to have a national infrastructure fund, things that were not there. So I think that once we have that level of confusion, then you realize now even when they plan, they now get to where they've gotten today with the issue of university funding. And I remember the president having dialogue with university students. And they were discussing at length about the funding models. And some of them raised a lot of issues. I remember the president giving them an assurance that nobody will be left out. But look, is it the president who is not doing the things right, or are people misleading him? And I think it's also high time for the president to look at some of the so many called advisors. Some of them might not be giving him the proper advice, because What happens after 3 years? You come almost to the stretch to the next election, you realize what you are doing was not right, and you need to review it. So I think too many advisors, this is what you get.
I just also wanted to say that the group that formed the university funding model was actually not Parliament. It was a Presidential Working Party on Education Reforms. It was a group of people led by one Bwana Munavu, who went around the country, and then they came and they formed this. It was after they formed it that it was then taken to Parliament.
Okay.
And it was assented to by the president, and that's how then it became an act. So my point being that there's a lot of work that goes into some of these things. Too much work, too much painstaking work, too many resources. You can imagine what it took for them to go around the whole country, right? You can imagine what it took to then be on the hope. And this is just one example. Going back to and I'm always going to stick to that question, that whether we're going to talk about for the people or for the people of Kenya, for Kenyans, that what is it for them and what do people actually want? Because the pain point here, nobody cares. Look, people have gone to Bungoma and they've been there in the hundreds of thousands, but people are coming back to the realities when they come back to their homes. And what brings them out of their door again tomorrow when there is another rally is the hope that it will be better tomorrow. So you've dashed their hopes against a stone after 3 years when they thought, okay, fine, my child who got an A plane in her KCSE, for example, to go to university, but we can't afford it, right? When there is hope that possibly somebody will actually come and do what they mean or do what they say, you don't realize what you do to people when that doesn't happen. So when after 3 years, you essentially dissolve all that work that went into place and come and say, okay, we're going to fund it. People are going to start asking you questions. So where's the money going to come from? You've just had a budget. How come you didn't tell us that I was going into it? And then even if you have a supplementary budget, a lot of the times when we see the supplementary budget coming into place, a lot of that money goes towards state function. These are the questions that people are asking. And it doesn't matter. It could be a goat that would come in and say, I want to be president. But if you're not doing the things that are going to ensure that the people's hope will never be dashed against a rock, you're wasting people's time.
I agree with you entirely. And what I want to look into is how do we change our politics into candidates talking about what they will do, when they will do, how they will do, and actually what financing will they use to do them.
And the other day, I had to bring this up and I forgot. Last week, the president again said, "Ikiingia heavy." The minute a woman gets pregnant, am I lying?
Yeah.
The minute a woman gets pregnant, we will take care of her, the baby, even the husband. We will take care of all of you. Leave it to me. He said it again the other day. So now you tell me how many people are thinking today, oh, fantastic. Now I don't have to worry about my pregnancy and my childbearing for the next 3 months.
Before I come to that, so I was explaining that all over the place, candidates are running up and down. I saw they were saying Kalonzo is working from home, taking nice pictures and posting. Sifuna is indeed in the field, but he's not talking about what he will do. In fact, it's so demeaning for someone who wants to be president to say that for Luyas, Luyas have to go into their houses with chickens. Yet we've actually tried as a country to move from Kibera being a place where, tourists come and all these NGOs, and people are very happy. We want to take you to Kibera so that you can see the biggest, the biggest squalor, the biggest, the biggest place where people don't have water, people don't have toilets, people are living like animals. So when William Ruto came in, he actually changed the way politics are done. And I think it will be very difficult for any other person who will not match how he does his politics to get in. Because today, however much our politics may be divided into tribes, we may be divided into economic classes and all these manner of things, the people of Kenya still know what they want. And no one, apart from William Ruto today, is trying to actually give them an option of what they need to do. I'd give you a very good example. Let me use housing as an example.
Quickly with your example.
Housing today is actually a need. We have over 7 million Kenyans who are still living in slums. And we've seen what is done in Mukuru. He may not settle all the 7 million people in 5 years, but we've seen some progress. Youths and hope. The building of stadiums, the improvement of sport facilities, that is an asset that is being built that then would just need connection between the federations that we have to improve how the quality of sports is. When tomorrow we have all these African games and all that being played here, it even spurs inspiration in our young people to start looking into it. Healthcare is very important. You've talked about the president saying yesterday that Linda Mama is now Linda Jamii, and that's what he was explaining in simple terms. What he was simply saying is that we are going to take care of pre- and postnatal care in simple terms. So that's what he was just trying to explain. We might want to make it an issue of saying, it's a promise. It's not a promise. It's already what is in the universal healthcare in SHA. So SHA has a prenatal and postnatal care. Finally, on the funding model of education, it's true it came from that body that was led by, you say it is called?
Munavu.
Yes, which I think that's how government works. But the parliament is where the people are. That's where our representatives are. So my expectation was, when it gets to parliament, because someone has to coin it, but when it got to parliament, my expectation was that the parliamentarians, through the public participation, the education committee, would have actually done their assignment to actually get those views. Nevertheless, that was not done. It was passed. True, it didn't give us the outcome we expected. The president met the youths, the university students. They gave him his views, and he went back and changed what had already been agreed. Why? Because he's a president that actually listens to the people.
Our time is up, unfortunately. But I think that why this needs to be continually engaged on, because there's some things that are truth and there are other things that mask themselves as the truth. Well, we want to thank both of you for being here this morning. Elijah Sauer is a youth leader, UDA, and Evans Wafula, political analyst. Asante Sana, both for you being here. Good morning. It's 8 a.m.
Thank you.
Spice up your life. The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning, this is the news. I'm Sheila Timbor. National Assembly Defense Foreign Affairs Intelligence Committee Chairperson Nelson Koech has dismissed claims that joint military training between the KDF and the Batuk was suspended over bribery. The Belgut MP said Parliament's 2-year inquiry into Batuk, tabled in November 2025, found that the key issues were the legal status, immunity and accountability of British troops in Kenya. Said the committee recommended continued defense cooperation provided it is anchored on respect for Kenyan laws, greater accountability and stronger protections for host communities. Koech's remarks follows claims by DCP leader Rigathi Gachagua that the suspension is linked to an alleged 3 billion shillings bribe involving President William Ruto, allegations the committee chairperson rejected.
Saa ile imesemekana contract ikuwe renewed. The Committee of Parliament for Defense and Foreign Relations, the chairman is called Nelson Koech, ni mtu ya Kasongo. Ameambia hii wazungu, for us to renew the contract, we want 3 billion shillings. Wakule moja, bilioni 2 wapelekea Kasongo. Wazungu wamesema ati mnataka nini? 3 billion, iko na risiti hapana. Ni ya kazi gani? Ni ya mdoso. Ya kufanyia nini? Ya kutafuta kura. Wazungu wamesema hawezekani. Hiyo kamati ya Nelson Koech have taken the British round for 8 months.
The UK has announced that the 2026 exercise Haraka Storm will be held outside Kenya after the two countries failed to agree on a legal framework governing military training. Thousands of residents in Western Kenya turned out to welcome Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna and the Linda Mwananchi movement during a tour of Bungoma County. Leaders accompanying Sifuna called on opposition parties to unite behind him. as their preferred presidential candidate for the 2027 general election, describing him as a strong challenger to President William Ruto. Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya urged the opposition to settle on Sifuna as its flag bearer, while Siaya Governor James Orengo claimed President Ruto has lost public support.
Washemeji wetu kutoka Nyanza, I'm calling upon you kama kijana ambaye alipigania Raila Trans Nzoia 2022. This time round musimame na sisi ama namna gani?
Ama hapa kuna kura ya Kasongo, pale kuna kura ya Kasongo, pale kuna kura ya Kasongo.
The leaders also hinted at forming a new political party, arguing that ODM has moved away from its original principles and no longer represents the opposition. Sifuna said the party's corporation President Ruto has created a need for an alternative political vehicle.
Tumekuwa Kisumu na huyu babu hakuna kura ya Kasongo, lakini kuna watu hapa Bungoma wanasema hapa ndio Kasongo atatoa kura.
Wale wote ambao mlikuwa mnaamini chama cha ODM, simturuhusu kutafuta njia nyingine. Marafiki, lakini atatafuta marafiki kama yeye pia ni presidential candidate.
And that's the news. I'm Sheila Tembur.
.5 Spice FM, Kisumu.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
Baba should disown these experts and say they went there on the, because he keep on telling us that these experts just you came from Dubai and you found them they're already at State House looking for jobs.
Government has to has to introduce austerity measures. It's something that this government and the previous ones have not been able to do in this country. We've talked about it so many times.
And really, I think you have seen the modus operandi of William Samoei Ruto since he came in. It's just showbiz.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
We look at the utterances of leaders who are aligned to broad-based, who are initially in ODM. We thought they stand for something. Now they've been exposed.
Because we are a third world country, we are poor. And not because we don't have resources, but we have been robbed senseless.
Look at the wasteful expenditure. Look at how large government lives. And we've said this is something that can be controlled. It happens in many other countries.
Internally, we used to stand and tell him, boss, hii kitu ni mbaya. And you'd say, now he doesn't, let me tell you, you saw the other parliamentary group meeting. People went there, sat, listened, looked at him. There was no plenary, left.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation. The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
I am also a publicly elected official. Okay. My salary is paid by your taxes.
Yes.
So if you need me to answer questions, we will not run away from you.
Asante
We will always be here.
The government itself is engaging in corrupt practices. That the government itself deliberately schemes to influence through bribery members of parliament.
You pay for a passport online. Alafu you're told there are no booklets.
I rebuke matters corruption because corruption has brought this country to its knees.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
All right, we're getting into it, and it is 8 minutes after 8 o'clock into the third hour of the Situation Room this Monday morning. For the people, it will always be.
Yeah.
And we're getting into our next conversation this morning. That is it necessary to have the Mulembe Nation coming together on this one position?
Yeah.
Like I said, it's always been that question about, okay, you have a lot of these people who never really seem to know which way to go. and who to stand by or who to unite with, and they've often done their politics in silos. And is it time for them to come together? We'll get into that conversation in just a little bit, because it's necessary for us to look at the intrigues around how all of this definitely is working, and whereby we say that it's the will of the people to go out and actually vote, that it is you to say and understand what everybody along the line should be doing. Because then, does the top leadership affect what's going to happen at the very lower cadres of leadership? Does it matter who then is your MCA? Absolutely. Does it matter who is your member of parliament? Yes, it does. Does it matter who is your county governor? Absolutely. Does it matter who is your woman rep? Does it matter who's your senator? All of those things matter across the line leading up to the very top of it, or whether it's from the top going down. And whether all those things are being taken into consideration is what we're talking about this hour. Now, we're going to get into that conversation this morning, and our guest is already seated for us to do that. And looking into battle for Mulembe. Can the president woo the Mulembe ahead of 2027? Michael Agwanda is a political analyst and joins us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Thank you for being here this morning.
My pleasure.
We're going to get into this conversation because it's, of course, one that's being had at the moment, and one that has been had for many years. It's not just a Bungoma Transoya over the weekend conversation, but that it's been had for a very long time. So let's get into that in just a bit. But you may or may not know that Dennis goes around the African continent every week. He comes back from a different African country with their proverbs. Then we get you to interpret them.
Yeah, today we are in Malawi. Capital Lilongwe and Blantyre is the largest commercial city. But when you think about the country is considered the warm heart of Africa because of the friendliness of the people of Malawi. Now, the country also has one of the greatest lakes in the continent, and that Lake Malawi, you just think about it, and it covers over 20% of the entire landmass of the country, and in there more species of fish than any other lake in the world. But the proverb that we get from the country: always remember, empty seats are better than wrong company. Always remember, empty seats are better than the wrong company. How would you interpret it?
Empty seats are better than long company.
Yes.
The good thing is I've been to Malawi and I've seen the country, the hospitality. Majority of them are Bantus. So when they speak, you can, and you understand a little bit of Luya, you can actually understand them. But what that simply means is sometimes it is better to be still than have people that make a lot of noise but have absolutely no value, no importance, and can cause a lot of problem by what they say. And that's why, some people would rather just be in a quiet moment, in a quiet place, perhaps read a book, do something that empowers them and interests them, than having a number of people that may sound like you're popular, may sound like you are a go-to place, may sound like people are celebrating, but at the end of the day, it only hurts you.
Yeah. Well said, well interpreted, Asante.
Indeed. So why is this Mulembe Nation talk so important?
Well, there are seasons in life, time to be born and a time to die, a time to, celebrate, and a time also to work. Moments like this are moments that we consider and see every 5 years. People come up and they want to appeal to the electorate. They want to appeal to the country. They want to appeal to the people that they think need to listen to them because they want votes. Mulembe Nation, on the other hand, is a huge voting bloc in this country. But what I saw yesterday is something besides the Mlembe nation that we want to talk about today. Is I saw Mlembe being represented in very different places in the country yesterday. I saw the Speaker of the National Assembly in Kisii addressing a crowd. I also saw Sifuna also coming up in Bungoma in a very big way. And I also saw Honorable Musalia Mudavadi with the president in Tesoland.
Yes.
And I also saw one CS Oparanya in another function in Kakamega. And they were all in different places. These are individuals that Mlembe Nation has been talking about, for I don't know how many years, except Sifuna coming in very recently to now Sifuna and Natembaya coming in very recently to sort of juggle around and see whether Mlembe Nation might be, leaning towards them. And so the first thing that came into my mind is we also know that Mlembe Nation has been very liberal in the way they've been voting in this country. They've not just been as an entire community voting for one single individual. In fact, there are cases where we can say the only person that perhaps brought them together, near together, is Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. But when you saw what happened in the last general election, it was also blamed, especially where the speaker comes from, the national speaker comes from, that if he had only gotten those votes, about 250,000 from that area, perhaps he would have been the president. And so the question that everybody is asking, that is this the first time that Mlembe Nation might be seeing things as a unit or as a community and forging ahead to vote for one single individual? Well, the answer is in what I have just described. When I saw Mlembe Nation and their leaders that are perceived to be the ones that need to give them the direction being in 5 different places the same day, and the day that one of their sons that they say now who wants to unify the Mlembe Nation was coming back home, and that is Bungoma. You'll imagine that perhaps the other individuals would have said, look, maybe we need to support one. Maybe we need to be together in one function. Maybe we need to be in this function. So we're seen to be in a team. But perhaps the strategy was not that. The strategy was a little bit to cast out wide and see how many congregations can be found. And I think that is a discussion today. Who got the biggest crowd yesterday? And I don't think the crowd in itself amounts to the votes. I don't think the crowd itself amounts to popularity. I don't think the crowd in itself also makes one to become the president. Because we've seen many crowds in this country, but those individuals, some of them have received those big crowds, were not elected as presidents in this country.
Yeah. When you think about the Mlembe Nation, we're talking about around 2.93, almost 3 million votes that everybody wants as we speak. And with where then President William Ruto finds himself today with Mount Kenya, Rigathi Gachagua saying, Imeenda, find elsewhere. Mlembe Nation then seems to be where he's focusing on, together with Nyanza, to get the votes that would then bring him back. But with the entrance of Sifuna now as we speak, it's seemingly slipping away in one way or the other. Pundits would say, imeenda. But how much work must the president then put in to ensure that that Mlembe vote does not leave his basket?
I want to give you a very important answer in this question. Sifuna in himself has not declared that he's running for president. I want the whole country to know that Sifuna in himself still does not have a party that is a vehicle that will propel him to a presidential candidate in this country. And therefore, when people around him are telling him that you are now able to run for president, a question that you need to ask yourself is he being set up for failure, or are they trying to bite more than they can chew in this case. Remember, they're the ones who are telling him, you can run for president now. But him is not coming out to say, I want to run for president. Remember, he's the one saying that, all he's talking about is Lina Mwananchi. Little about, I want to run for president. In fact, at one point, I think, when people cornered him and asked him whether he could run for president, I remember him, saying, look, you guys want to finish me really, really soon. It's like, no, this is not where I'm going to. The crowd might perhaps give him a scenario or perhaps entice him to think that it's the right time for him to run for president. But in his inner heart, is he able to say that if I run for president, I will clinch the presidency in 2027? Remember, we're only having just a year to general election. Is he able to say, I can now mount a campaign worth its salt to ask Kenyans to make me the president? But that can also come with a vehicle for it. And I had Governor Orengo asking a lot of ODM members to support Lina Mwananchi. Lina Mwananchi in itself, even if you want somebody to support it, it's not a vehicle. It's not a registered party. And therefore, instead of perhaps saying, look, we need to go back to our places and endear our people to love what we are doing first, you're telling them to jump ship on a party that is non-existence in the first place. And so I'm coming back to what I was talking about. Yes, the president needs to really think about Mlembe Nation and the Luo Nation, and that includes even the Kisis, because those places he can get votes. Definitely he will get votes. He's gotten votes before there, but he will get even more votes this time. But the question that we need to ask ourselves is, who are the foot soldiers on the ground? Because if the foot soldiers on the ground are doing what they are supposed to do, they're showing the development projects that perhaps the president has done in those places, and I know he has done a number of them, mending fences with electorates that they've had, in Mlembe Nation, bringing in some new energies and some new strength to campaign and do underground campaign. Perhaps we might see more votes than we've not seen before, but that cannot happen if you are being scared, by a huge crowd that is following Sifuna.
Is he scared?
Pardon?
Who'd be scared of the crowd here? The people, are we all saying, oh my goodness, what a crowd? And I mean, like you're saying, true. I mean, it's a no-brainer. It doesn't equate to votes. A crowd doesn't equate to votes. A crowd doesn't equate to a decision being made. But what does it mean? What do those numbers mean? Because we can't also run away from the reality that those people came out. Was it just for lack of something to do over the weekend? Or was it just, who's the flavor of the month and he's happened to make a visit to the West? What do those numbers mean?
One of the things that I say is Kenyans, sometimes we have a lot of idle people.
Okay.
And that's the reality. Mm-hmm. An accident takes place here, and you find 20, 30, 100, 200 people just standing there watching. And you're wondering, but these guys, they must have been going somewhere. And if they're going somewhere and they're late to wherever they're going to, and they'll stand there for hours and hours. Mm-hmm. And two, Kenyans love politics. They love politics. They love people who are antagonistic. They love hope. Kenyans want to hear something new. They want to hear what are the politicians that have not had for a long time is bringing on the table and want to tell them. And Kenyans also love actions, and especially when you talk about the Luyas and the Luos, they love people who seem to be antagonizing the government in one way or the other, and so they want to hear something different. They want to hear something that looks like very, very antagonistic. And then the Luyas, if you remember, the Luyas and the Luos have led the demonstration in this country for many, many years. As a result, they still feel agitated to know whether something is new is being brought. Remember, this gentleman, Sifuna, is talking about the spirit of Raila Amolo Odinga in him. And if you had some of his, interviews, he's saying he doesn't know why God put him in a place to work with Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga for about 9 years as his SG. For that reason, people want to hear something new. The question is he going to appease the people that are crowding, the crowd that are coming to hear his story, and for how long?
Would you reckon that the people are hearing this new thing? Because his homecoming, one would say, is one among many other trips that he's made across the country. Remember Nairobi, in Kitengela. Remember as well in Mombasa. There was Kajiado as well when he went across the country. And with this, we continue to see crowds that let's say crowds showing up to listen to what he is saying. And even if you go to the social media where the young people are and they are saying, this is someone who's speaking our voice. Is that in one way communicating something to the powers that be, that perhaps the strategy needs to change?
Well said. The only thing I want to reference you on is when Didi Nyoro at one point called all the media houses. And the whole world was expecting a huge, announcement. It did not happen. Soon after that, I think the negative energy was more than the positive energy. When you've made the media know that you are having a homecoming and it will be like no any other homecoming, they are also expecting you to announce something. They are also expecting you to tell them something new that they have not heard from you, other than just Linda Mwananchi and Ruto must go. They're expecting you to hear something new so that they can also be part of that system. I did not hear that. Other than the same rhetoric that Ruto must go. I did not hear that. I did not hear them saying that we've now formed a party, because that is one of the things that people were waiting for, that perhaps he was going to tell them that we formed a party. So now we know for a fact that that homecoming had nothing other than, hey, look, I can run for president, and I can run for president even if I don't have the money. Forget about the narrative that you must have money to run for president. And so here is my bucket. Could you put some little money in it? Is that what the people in Bungoma wanted to hear and Kitale wanted to hear? I think they needed to hear more than that. How about rallying people to vote? How about not necessarily that, but how about a new thing that are brought on the table that Sifuna did not tell us yesterday? In my view, the vote, people, as I've said, people want to hear something new. But that new thing is not coming. It's the same rhetoric they've had before. And you realize that the president is telling, look, it's the same thing. Your main agenda is the president must go home. It's one term. What is it that you're telling us new that we need to do? There are many issues in this country that I think the government need to look at. When you say you have the spirit of Raila Amolo Odinga fought for the new 2010 constitution, and he won. Raila Amolo Odinga was in jail for detention for 9 years, and he was out of it. Raila Amolo Odinga fought Section 2A in this country, and Raila Amolo Odinga fought for injustice of land issues. When he went to Mombasa, he was talking about land issues. What is Sifuna talking about?
Have we not heard
resonate with the people, that you can say, this is what this government is not doing well, and for that reason, we really feel that they need to be addressed. People also want issues to be discussed.
Have we not heard these issues come out? I'll make a list. Edwin Sifuna has talked about the right to not be disappeared and killed, Vijana Wetu. And there's a picture, not just a picture, there's a video of the man who stood in front of police officers with the guns that were shooting Kenyans down in 2024. And he stood before them and said, come on, guys, we don't have to do this. And it becomes the thing that he talks about to date, that stop killing and disappearing our young people. He talks about the fact that you can actually then work on a health system that works. He talks about the fact that corruption should be a thing of the past. He's a member of the PAC, that he sits in those committees week on end, and he talks about the fact that people's money should actually not be disappearing in the county governments, pointing to the devolution that you talk about. I could go on and on, but it's not as though the man stands in front of crowds and says absolutely nothing. it's not as though he divorces himself from the issues. And I keep talking about the fact that there's something that people say that they're looking to be liberated from. It's the people. And for some reason, if that hope was not being offered to them, a change from what they are currently going through, they wouldn't come out. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense. All the things that you've mentioned, whether it is people disappearing, these are matters that need to be addressed in this government.
And he's addressing. He wants to address them. Does he not say that?
They must be addressed. But you see, when he's out there and is talking about the crowd, it is more about what people say that he needs to do more than the real issues that need to be addressed. You need to run for president. We'll support you. And so the center stage is not based on some of the things that you've mentioned, which are critical and which are being discussed from all quarters.
So it would make it easier from what you're saying. It would make it more palatable if Edwin Sifuna in Bungoma yesterday had said, I am running for president.
And this is my vehicle.
Is that okay? Does he have to have a vehicle? Does he have to have a party?
Oh yeah, you have to have a party.
Why do you have to have a party to run?
He can run
Because
as an independent, though.
He can run as an independent. There's no problem about it. But remember that anybody who wants to run for president in this country, you just don't want to be the president and have no minister, have no members of parliament, have no senators, have no governors, have no MCAs, because it is the vehicle that lasts. It's the vehicle that gives you the power in parliament to begin. It's the members that are elected in those assemblies that enables you to even look at some of your manifestos and see whether they're implemented. You cannot implement that if you're the only president and nobody's on your side. So that's really, really important to me.
Fair enough.
Because that also allows other people to say, do we join your vehicle or not? And what is your vehicle offering? What are some of the objectives that you want to address this country on?
So what if he comes up today, the 27th, after seeing what, they say a prophet is most known from his own home. So what if after he comes from where he's from and he's seen this thunderous welcome that he's received from his people and then comes today and says, okay, you know what? This is the party duly registered and this is what we're running on. Would you change your view?
I am not saying that I will change my view or not. All I am saying is he had a wonderful opportunity to seize and to tell the nation which direction he wants to go.
But Kenya's still here. Kenya didn't disappear Kenya didn't disappear into orbit just because he went to Bungoma yesterday. Guess what? The day has broken today. And there still is an opportunity for him to come and say, okay, guys, I've seen what you're telling me. Here's the party. Because you've said that, first of all, you need a platform and you need a proclamation or an announcement. You say it's a missed opportunity, but that's the thing about opportunities. They come again. So if he has another opportunity to then say, okay, guys, this is the party. These are the people who are defecting. This is what they're defecting to. And this is what we're going to run on. You think he still missed the chance?
At that point, we will have that discussion. Because then people will see whether the Ford Kenya could still remain in a little part of Western, whether ODM will still be rattled a little bit if that would be the case, whether Musalia Mudavadi can go to his Vihiga home turf and say, look, we are in UDA and for that reason I need these votes, for the president. It is important to know that all these people that I mentioned are very strategically placed in government and they are all looking for votes for President William Samoei Ruto. And as a result, the question that you want to ask yourself is all those people that showed up there, they were ODM people, they were Ford Kenya people, some of them were also UDA people. And so you cannot say that all of them are going to be voting for Sifuna or all of them will be supporting Sifuna when the real time comes. And as a result, we are looking into these things at the tail end. Does it amount to votes? And if it amounts to votes, then if those people had different pockets and trust on different parties, then we cannot say that all of them will vote for Sifuna when Sifuna finally decides that I have a vehicle and I want you to come over this side so that you may vote for me. I think that's how I look at it. Because then we are perhaps propelling Sifuna or even forcing him to say something that he doesn't want to say. Maybe he doesn't want to run for president. Maybe he's just working on behalf of the united opposition, or he's working on his strategy, not for 2027, perhaps even on 2032.
Or maybe not, because 2027 has been a date that has come out of his mouth very often, and we can't run away from that. 2032 has been a date that others, including the Super CS Mudavadi, has put out there, suggesting that should be the time he should run for. Let's take a break. And then we'll come back, and then maybe you can tell us why the Luya vote has always been divided. So many people, but then so many parties. What's going on? Make a decision. Okay, let's come back.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Traffic.
All right, that's how we started Monday morning. Very, very busy. And there's still some traffic on North Airport Road going out towards Outer Ring. In and outbound traffic still continues to be a thing today. And we're looking at traffic that's coming off of Langata Road. Very busy this morning, going towards Raila Odinga Way and then joining at some point with Our Wings Collect. But then there's also traffic coming off of Uhuru Highway. This comes off of Mombasa Road, heading out into the city via Haile Selassie. All right, the traffic on the Thika Superhighway is now contained to just beyond Outer Ring, heading towards the Pangani Underpass and then out towards Kirinyaga Road on one side and Moy Avenue on the other. For all intents and purposes, we're still in traffic hour this morning, and folks getting about doing the business. Let's talk and keep things moving. SpiceFM #EonX hashtag the Situation Room.
Life hack on Spice FM, brought to you by Gentle Care Baby Pants for the unstoppable baby and for the mother who cares.
Gentle Care, wanna keep your baby dry. Install car seats using either lower anchors or a seatbelt, never both. Always buckle children from birth all the way to 12 years in the back seat.
Life hack on Spice FM, proudly brought to you by Gentle Care Baby Pants, world-class premium comfort diapers that feature quick max absorption technology and zigzag channels that distribute wetness evenly, so there's absolutely no sagging. It's smart, it's premium, and it's affordable. Join the unstoppable journey today. Grab a pack of Gentle Care Baby Pants at your nearest supermarket. Gentle Care Baby Pants for the unstoppable baby and for the mother who cares.
Turn up the heat with endless entertainment on Star Times. Feel every moment of the action as the biggest leagues reach their thrilling finales. Recharge your monthly subscription to unlock a world of endless drama to enjoy Novella E, now available on your Nyota bouquet. Dive into blockbuster movies with the launch of TNT, your new home of big screen hits. And for the little ones, a world of non-stop fun on Cartoon Network, now on Star Times. News, sports, drama, movies, kids, and reality all in one place. All for you. To renew your subscription, dial *858# for self-service or get in touch with our call center on 0719 077 077 for customer care. Buy a Star Times decoder at any of our deal shops countrywide. Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
All right, we continue our conversations this morning and then looking into the Mulemba Nation and what it's going to take. Aseto?
Yeah. When we look at the Luya vote for a very long time, the Luya unity has been elusive for a very long time. And we look at the reasons behind that is because there have also been very many parties that come from the region where each and every single person wants to be a president with their party, with their vehicle, and that tends to fragment the region. But as we speak right now, many say perhaps maybe Sifuna is coming to bring these elusive Luya unity once and for all, for them to speak in one voice. Is that a reality?
That's not a reality. Let me give you about 5 reasons why the Luyas will never vote as a bloc. One is Luyas have never had a presidential, or they've not had an individual that has captured the attention of the whole country as a presidential candidate. They've been working with the other parties. Now, for a community to rally behind one of their own as a presidential candidate, that candidate must capture the attention of the people first. That is what Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, the late, did. He went out and went to every corner of this country. Then when he came back, he said, now I don't need your support, but you are part of me for the presidency. Now, when he went out there, he was looking for support. His people was already the vehicle that he was using. Most Luhya leaders who want to run for presidency are not running for president on their own volition, but in partnership with other people, or finding themselves in a place where now they're almost there, but they're not yet there. They're not coming out in time to run for presidency. And because they've not had a strong presidential candidate, that voting bloc has been divided. Remember, Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga used to get the entire Luo support because he was always running for president. As a community, they need to have a strong presidential candidate so that they can be unified. If not, they will vote however they want. Number two is Luhyas have many parties, or rather Luhya community have many parties. And some of these parties is also, emanating from their communities, whether they are, whether they are, the number of tribes within the Luhya community. As we say the Luhya community, we also know that there are a number of tribes in there. And some of those tribes, because of their culture, they're always together and they don't want to sometimes, vote in the same pattern as the other communities that perhaps they see in a different way. Number three is there have been senior politicians in the Luhya community that have always been self-seeking. They've been about themselves, I and myself. And as a result, the community have been thinking that you're not fighting for us. Once you get something, you're gone. You don't come back here to really, do development with us. And that strong man, also, number four, is the strong man of Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, who was just a neighbor there and had a lot of influence in the Luhya community. And in fact, there are also some facts that they had some roots in the Luhya community. And because he was always running for president, the Luhyas felt that the presidency was near them with Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, by them having nobody else. And as a result, you could not perhaps, just wish him away in the western part of Kenya. He was there, and if he stood, no one else will dare stand against him. And as a result, he will get votes from western Kenya. The question that we want to ask ourselves now is who stands in the place of Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, who can get votes both from the Luo community, the Kisii community, and also the western part of Kenya. But that needs a lot of work, and it also needs a lot of track record. It also needs consistency. It also needs the buying of this community as a single individual, and that sometimes needs a lot of resources as well as people behind you. Remember, one of the things that Raila Amolo Odinga did well is to build a party that had a grassroots structure that even UDA do not have, that even many parties do not have. As a result, those structures were also embedded in western part of Kenya. And as a result, it was very, very difficult to have a presidential candidate that could be compared or even be near Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. Now he's not there. Perhaps the only person that we have that could also be able to unify people through ODM is the party leader of the ODM in this case. Leaders for themselves.
Who's the party leader?
Who's the party leader?
The party leader for ODM is Honorable Buru Odinga.
Is the one who's going to be doing these things that you talk about?
No. What I'm saying is perhaps the only person that could be seen to do that by the mere fact that ODM is still having a very strong hold in Western Kenya is the party leader of ODM.
Okay.
Because if you look at how many votes, how many members of parliament are in Western Kenya, ODM has a bigger chunk of MPs than any other party in that region.
Sifuna has been christened to embody the style, the charisma of one Raila Amolo Odinga, based on how he's even moving in terms of his campaigns through the Linda Mwananchi. You see him go to
other areas first, speak to Kenyans across the country. He just came from his Linda Mwananchi homecoming in Bungoma. And with that, he continues to say, I will continue speaking to Kenyans before my announcement is made. And many would say he is seemingly uniting the Luhya community behind him, as well as other regions who are saying, we identify with Sifuna. Are we also looking, would one be wrong to say that what we are seeing with Sifuna is the people who are making him be who he is? It is the people who are making him be greater than many would be other leaders from the Luhya community who have been in the game for a very long time. Are the people making Sifuna be greater in Western region?
We have something called United Opposition now. Mm-hmm. And we have Sifuna, who says, Mimi ni Sifuna. As to whether he's part of this united opposition, no one knows. Or as to whether he's working in such a way that one day he joins the united opposition, nobody knows. As to whether he wants to be Mimi Nisifuna by himself and form his own vehicle, devoid of this other opposition, congregation, no one knows. Now, that's what makes his quest for presidency a little bit elusive. Because what I'm looking at now is if I am rallying, I want people to rally behind me for a position in 2027. I would rather stand out there and say, Mimi ni Sifuna, but I'm an independent candidate and I'm going to run for president. Or Mimi ni Sifuna, but we are planning so that we make so and so the president of this country.
So maybe that's what makes everybody uncomfortable, because he's not saying it, and the people are actually not ready for what could come if he does. And I'm going to ask a question that I asked earlier. There seems to be something very scary about people not knowing. And because you want to know, then you imagine that the idea could be less potent because you do not know. Because what we don't know sometimes scares us, doesn't it? So is there a possibility that because people don't really know, and that there's a possibility that this thing could come and actually sweep the nation, then it's a bit uncomfortable?
Not really. Not really.
Because you want to know, you've said, we want to know now if he's going to be president. We want to know now which party he's going to run on. We want to know now who he's going to, we want to know now if the grassroots are going to be, and what it does is that it gives you a kind of certainty and a kind of comfort. And we don't like being uncomfortable, do we?
No. Raila Amolo Odinga, I'll give you an example. Mm-hmm. He said Kibaki Tosha. Mm-hmm. Everybody knew that he was the one going to run for president. Mm-hmm. Kibaki became the president. Mm-hmm. We want to figure out whether Sifuna will be the guy who wants to say Michael Tosha, and then everybody votes for you.
Why? Because from that example that you've just given, Raila Odinga didn't say 2 years before that he's going to say Kibaki Tosha. For the whole time. Yeah. For the whole time he knew he was going to be president.
Behind him but then many years.
Yeah, but
that is why people could trust him.
Yeah, but he'd been saying he was going to be president, and people believed that he was going to actually run for president. But at the moment, 3 months to the election, he said Kibaki Tosha, and people went with him. If you're going to use that same example, you didn't know.
No,
you had no idea.
No. When Raila said Kibaki Tosha, he knew that the Luos and the Luhyas will vote for him because they voted for him before.
But the point here being that the people did not. The point here being, that the people that we're still talking about right now did not know that Raila Odinga was going to say Kibaki Tosha.
Correct.
Exactly.
But what I'm saying is he said Tosha, and it happened simply because he had a voting bloc behind him that had been tested and he was sure will back him. Mm-hmm. The question that everybody will ask, if he is going to be a kingmaker, which voting bloc is he having as a kingmaker? Are you understanding that? Now, if he's going to run for president, then he needs to figure out, but where am I going to get these votes? Because presidency alone cannot be delivered by Mulembe Nation. That we know for a fact that, in fact, that is a matter we are discussing here, is fragmented in terms of how they vote. Many parties, maybe not having a presidential candidate, and maybe having leaders that have been, really there for some times and are not resonating with the people. You understand this? So as a result, we are saying, look, if you do not have a vehicle and you're not saying what you want, then maybe you're just having fun. Maybe you're just having fun to see whether people are going to turn out and hear what you're saying and collect some little money out of it. All this can happen. And you might think they're really, really beautiful. But I'm repeating the same thing I said. Look, these guys that are coming to his rallies are UDA, some of them are ODM, some of them are Ford Kenya, some of them are all manner of people that are registered in different parties. We've not seen people en masse registering or deregistering from a certain party and saying we're joining Sifuna because it doesn't have it yet.
Yep. But then again, there is the Mwananchi as well, because if let's leave the political class, let's listen to what Mwananchi is saying, right? And the people who are actually saying Sisi ni Sifuna are Kenyans who show up to listen to what he's saying, are Kenyans who are giving him the pressure, one would say, to even run for the presidency. It is Kenyans who are telling him, we want to listen to you because you are speaking our language. Now, in all this equation, in all this conversation, one asks the question, why are we leaving the Mwananchi away from the equation, yet they are the ones who are coming with the demands? Does that then change the game for Sifuna or for any other candidate out there, because Mwananchi is seemingly standing with Sifuna and not anybody else?
I think what you're saying is where we all need to be. That when given an opportunity, we want to listen to every politician in this country and hear what they have for us. And I think they're doing the right thing. Attend those rallies to hear what Sifuna wants to offer them. After which, they make a decision whether to support Sifuna in his position or not. And that should happen to every political party in this country. And I am not saying this because, I'm thinking that a lot of people are going there. No. I am saying this because I really think that every politician must be put to task to tell the people what he wants to do for them. The question that you need to ask yourself is, when you're going around the country, then is your constituency the entire country? That means then you are either building only for two things. You're either building a political party, that is why you'll go all over the country, or you want to run for president. Okay? Now, then you need to be very clear that I'm here, but I'm not here just to jazz you with a lot of stories, just to jazz you with what is happening and what I want to do, but I am here so that I need your support. I need your support for this position. And to me, that is really, really key. So that you can see how many people are going to run from their parties they're registered in and say, look, I am going to register in his party, or I am going to support him in his quest. And I'm not saying that Sifuna cannot amount to be a presidential candidate. He can. But the question you need to ask yourself is, how does he want to sustain this narrative so that everybody can listen to him, but not just listen to him, follow him on what he wants. If he's not clear for now, and the story tomorrow might change, just as you said, it might change if he wants to do something and people feel resonated with it and people want to support him, they will. But for now, no one knows what Sifuna wants. And that makes us in this precarious situation. We are discussing Mlembe Nation, but the only known factors there is there's ODM, there's Ford Kenya, there's, I think there's a money party there. And some
does
other
Amani still exist?
Amani left.
Amani left.
Amani left the group.
Left the group. Those are still very strong entities in Western Kenya. And because he has not had a pie of this, we can't say that those crowds are his.
How much of a shakeup is he to even the established political parties with what he is doing? Because you look at Sifuna and you think about the majority of the population, the young people who identify with him. And if he can change these crowds, that support into votes, just how big a shakeup is he making, or a dent is he making in not only just the western part of the country, but to the entire country?
I would probably say once Sifuna gets a vehicle and we see this maintained crowd, Sifuna definitely will be on the table for discussion. That I see happening. But for now, without a vehicle or anything, no one wants to bring you on the table because your followers have not made a decision on what you want. Neither have they made a decision to follow you with your vehicle. That's how I look at it strategically. Because if we talk about Sifuna now and we don't know what he wants, then when he declares that this is what I want, and people say, oh, you still want to go to run for Nairobi Senate, then why were you coming all over the country? You know what I mean, as an example. So when he decides that this is what I want, then we can see the sustained group of people now going and saying we are committed to it. We can see registration perhaps in another party, because they've insinuated a possibility of having a party, but that is not there, well, no here now, because it's not been announced, it's not been declared, no one knows what it is. I stand by talking about today. Tomorrow might change, and if he organizes himself very, very well, Sifuna will be on the table for discussion.
I want to go back to, because you mentioned, I mean, in this, how many parties do we have coming out of this part of the country? I mean, we can count them, and we may not even have enough. But that everybody seems to want to be part of something, but that is not unified in purpose. And that has been the case. I remember, maybe having not been here, but remember that there was a time when Raila Odinga had a conversation with Musalia Mudavadi, and he basically said, bring them as one number and we'll crack this thing. But it never really happened. What is the problem there? Because in terms of population, they've got the numbers, but there seems to be unity of purpose still far away. Why is that?
Well, we have the Banyores, you have the Bukusus, you have the different little communities. They have different cultures. They have fear and respect and to one another.
Maybe our assumption is even wrong that they should be uniting. It could be a wrong assumption in the first place. Sorry.
But I also think as a strategy, it's also been for survival purposes. So that if that individual is out of government, remember that we've had Musalia Mudavadi at the last moment running to Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta. You remember at one point? And then we also had Wetangula running his own party very, very quickly and joining Honorable William Somaya Ruto. We've had politicians that are strategically placed. So you stay there in ODM, just in case we get it, we are part of it. But by the way, these guys are very good friends. At the end of the day, they're very, very good friends. And you stay in Jubilee or UDA or whatever it is. So if you get it, we are also part of the system. I think it is also a strategy just to make sure that we are not left out 100%, that we can be part of any government that is formed in this country. And they've done very, very well with it. I mean, Western is absolutely, if you look at it in terms of road network and some of the development that are taking place there, they've really benefited quite a bit from the government. But I really think it is so critical for this government to get the votes in Western. The strategy on how they want to get those votes from Western as a bloc is what they need to use now. The only hiccup that perhaps we are seeing here, and I agree with you on this, once Sifuna makes his announcement on whether he will be running for president or not, then we have people have now to discuss on how you want to get those votes as well. Or if you are resolving that you're not getting those votes, then you need to figure out where you're going to get those equivalent votes that Sifuna is going to go away with.
The Luhya vote has never been united. Even Raila Odinga tried, but he never really got it entirely. Now we look at even those who belong to the community have not managed to bring the entire batch in one basket. With Sifuna right now, many are also asking the question because you also have other parties there who are also taking their share. With a united Western bloc, what would that mean to anyone who's running for presidency if he has all the votes backed?
You have a huge voting bloc because Western Kenya have always voted in the same pattern with the Luo Nyanza, the southern part of Kenya. You look at it. So in terms of strategic planning for votes, you want to make sure that even if you don't get 100%, which is impossible, even in a mountain, Mount Kenya, even if you get maybe 90% or 80%, you're sure that you're also going to leverage with more votes from this southern Nyanza, and that is the Luo counties as well as the Kisii counties. They've always voted as a bloc, and that also is transferred all the way to Nairobi, and you see that their voting pattern in Western Kenya is brought to Nairobi, and they vote in a similar manner in Nairobi here. That's why you have a lot of members of parliament in Nairobi being more from the opposition more than the government. They've always tried to vote opposition. Now, I don't know exactly how the government is going to crack this, but it's something that have to be discussed. As to whether you are going to use some of these politicals, all politicians that have been there, I'm not saying that old in terms of age, but the ones that have run the show in Western Kenya, and hope that you're going to get a huge chunk of votes from them, that needs to be discussed. Because with the entrance of Natembeya and Sifuna, you need to figure out whether these people are going to continue holding on to the traditional old politicians or senior politicians in that region, or they're going to move to some of these newbies that are also speaking their language. It's very funny that a number of these politicians, once they're elected, they make a home in Nairobi, and then they don't go back home. But counties have made it such a way that the governors, especially if I can mention Governor Natembeya, being really in the village and working with the people and walking with the people, and it resonates with the people. At that point, you will rule him out at your own peril. At your own peril. And so these are some of the individuals and the dynamics that have come up that needs to be looked into. You still need votes from Western. You may not get exact number you want, but you still have to invest there to get the votes there.
Yeah.
Okay. Even as we look at that, obviously there's still a lot in terms of conversation that needs to be had, and at this point we have to come to the end of this conversation at this point, but still want to look into still a lot of engagement that needs to happen. We want to thank you for being here with us this morning to have this conversation with us, Michael. Asante Sana. And as we talk again, good morning, folks. We get to talk with you, dear Mr. President. 9 good morning, 9 a.m.
Spice up your life. The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning. This is the news. I'm Sheila Tembor. National Assembly Minority Leader Junet Mohammed has dismissed the Linda Mwananchi movement led by Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna, saying the late former ODM leader Raila Odinga will not have supported any partnership with DCP leader Rigathi Gachagua. Junet accused Gachagua of promoting tribal politics, arguing that such views would have made cooperation with Odinga impossible.
Spirit ya baba inaweza kaa na mtu kama Wycliffe, Ambeta, Oparanya. Tumeelewana? Spirit ya baba hawezi kukaa. Ngoja kidogo mama. Watu wanazunguka. Watu wanafanya nini? Na ukiuliza hawa, mnatupeleka wapi? Wanasema tunapeleka nyinyi kwa Gachagua. Nani hako hapa tayari kwenda kwa Gachagua? Hiyo ni riswa. Gachagua.
He added that should talks between ODM and UDA continue, one of the party's condition will be that deputy president position is reserved for ODM.
Sisi tunaenda kuungana na kutengeneza serikali ya 2027 na President William Samoei Ruto. Na UDA wakipata president, nani anapata deputy? ODM wanataka nini? ODM watadai wapate deputy president. Na yule mtu ambaye amekomaa, amekuwa na baba miaka na milele, ambaye amekuwa waziri, ambaye amekuwa deputy party leader wetu ni nani? Anaitwa Wycliffe Ambeta Oparanya.
Land CS Ali Sahome has called on Health CS Aden Duale to withdraw remarks targeting the Agikuyu community and issue an apology. In a statement on X, Sahome said past mistakes by other leaders cannot justify Duale's statements, urging him to take responsibility and reconsider his position. Her remarks come after Duale said he will not appear before the NCIC over alleged inflammatory remarks unless former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is also investigated over claims of incitement against the Somali community.
I want to tell NCIC, the day you are going to summon Rigathi Gachagua is the day you are going to summon Aden Duale. Siku ile mimi nitaenda kwa NCIC, lazima tuandamane na Rigathi Gachagua. Kama ni mtu ameongea hate speech, number 1 Kenya ni Rigathi Gachagua. And I am not apologetic about it. Hata mkitaka mnitukane kwa social media. Wakati Ruto alikutana na sisi, viongozi wa North Eastern na wakaaji wa Mandera, wewe ulisema rais amekutana na Al-Shabaab. Usipolete Rigathi Gachagua kwa ile matusi amefanyia jamii ya Wasomali na Waislamu, mimi hamwezi kuandikia barua. And I will not comply.
Aviation peers Terry Mbaika has accused DCP leader Rigathi Gachagua of changing his position on Kamba leaders and the community. Speaking in Makueni County, Mbaika claimed that Gachagua, while serving as deputy president, openly showed disapproval towards Kamba leaders. Aside, it was surprising that Gachagua is now seeking closer ties with the community after leaving office, alleging that the move is politically motivated.
So the point I'm putting across to you people is we must change with times. I worked with Rigathi Gachagua as my immediate boss. Terrible man. Anatuita sasa cousins. Cousins wanani. If he cannot take care of me, he cannot take care of us. If he cannot take care of one Mukamba, he cannot take care of all of us. He's a lie. He's being selfish. He's being tribal.
And Kilifi County security officials have called on residents and stakeholders to work together in maintaining peace and stability ahead of the 2027 general election. Speaking during a stakeholders workshop in Kilifi North Deputy County Commissioner Samuel Mutisia said security is essential for development, warning that political violence could hurt the country's economy.
Ukiangalia vizuri in all our sustainable development goals, and the UN charters and resolutions like the 1325 and sustainable goals, the 17 of them, they all speak in matters relating to development, where the world would want to be in some years to come. But that development cannot be achieved without peace and security.
And that's the news. I'm Sheila Tembor.
94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
Presidency is fairly interesting in the sense that it will actually take us to a new consciousness.
Swali zile watu waulizi na swali muuliza na shangala ni aje kwani huku kunaendaje?
30 billion shillings annually on travel alone in public service.
A Kenyan can even demonstrate every single day of his life that Ruto must go. That is the only message of his demonstration. That is his right.
That bribe blinds the eyes of the wise and subverts the cause of those who are in the right.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
Parliament has got powers. Let me break it down. The National Assembly can initiate an impeachment of the president.
This same
and the
National
Senate,
Assembly.
Yes. That's our constitution.
This is just a continuation of the previous administration, which Ruto was part of. President Uhuru himself openly said that we're losing 2 billion daily. Daily. I mean, come on. Are you saying that we don't have a central bank?
If we look at Kenya, both public-private sector, that figure is ranging between 30 to 40%, right?
I think it's clear that the government of Kenya is living beyond its means.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
I am also a publicly elected official.
Okay.
My salary is paid by your taxes.
Yes.
So if you need me to answer questions, we will not run away from you.
Asante
We will
sana.
always be here.
The government itself is engaging in corrupt practices. That the government itself deliberately schemes to influence through bribery members of parliament.
You pay for a passport online. Alafu you're told there are no booklets.
I rebuke matters corruption because corruption has brought this country to its knees.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
It's 8 minutes after 9 o'clock, and we continue our conversations this morning, but with you. Dear Mr. President, is what's happening this Monday morning at this time. And off the bat, we're just going to jump into it, because what we're asking today is, the president came out, he was in his backyard, which, okay, but he asked a question that maybe should be asked to everybody around the country.
Yeah.
Is that, why are you people not registering to vote? What is the problem? And, you know, with all of these conversations that we have, people can talk about political rhetoric. People can talk about who is the kingpin. People can talk about getting support in your own backyard. People can talk about those who sit and just wait for things to fall in their lap. Others who do the work, who sweat, who sing songs of political nature. Those who call others wildlife animals and all kinds of things. But at the end of the day, the people who will sway the position of things are the people who come out to vote. Kenyans, in their millions.
Yep.
And the only way you can do that, according to the Constitution, is to actually come out and register to be a voter. And then on the day, the said day, the second Tuesday of August, 2027, is actually come out and cast your vote. There's no other way.
Yep.
It doesn't happen, at least not in this Kenyan space, at least not for now. It doesn't happen any other way apart from that. So, why are people not voting? Oh, no, sorry. Why are people not registering to vote? Nini Mbaya?
Would want to ask that question, but not think about what we have done so that registering to vote is no longer an incentive. That people are no longer seeing voting as part of the solution. That people are no longer seeing the need of donating their power to a few individuals who would then proceed to form policy that would govern them for the next, say, 5 years. Because we have played around with the vote. We have played around with positions that we've been given, to a point where Mwananchi is now saying, ndio nini change? You get, for what purpose? What's the need? Because we have messed up the system so much that it's no longer attracting individuals to register to cast their vote.
Dennis Aseto says the reason why people are not registering to vote is because you don't trust the system anymore, and that you think that, you know, you're going to do what you're going to do anyway, so why should I register to vote? Okay. Dear Mr. President had a question, and he looked like he was really concerned at that moment, in his backyard no less, but asking, come on guys, if you are not registering to vote, how will I actually get this thing? And it's a question that we're posing across the nation today. Why are people not registering to vote? Tukokadi was something that kind of happened, but we're not talking about that anymore. It swept around for a while, and it looked as though many people were registering to vote, and IEBC tells us that number did not even get to 100,000.
Nope.
Around that time when this was happening, rather, the numbers that IEBC gave us before and the numbers that they gave us after this Tukokadi campaign did not make a big difference in terms of, you know, a drop in the ocean.
Especially based off the numbers that they are targeting. The number of Kenyans who registered did not make a scratch on IEBC's targets.
Okay, guys, you see how we talk about this thing every day? and we talk about, this cannot work, education is in a shambles, health is not working, the road, we complain every day, isn't it? We pontificate, we complain, we say, come on, it has to be better. There should not be long queues of people at immigration waiting to get their passport. There should not be women who are turned away from, prenatal care, and there should not be students who cannot afford to pay school fees. There should not be a WhatsApp group. There should not be Harambes for health and education and all of this. All of that leads to good governance. Yep. And it's across the board. It is not just the purview of the president, that it comes to you to who you put in as an MCA. It comes to who you put in as a member of parliament, which goes across your MP, your woman rep, and your senator. It comes across as who you put in as governor, who you put in as president. It matters from the very bottom to the top. So, come on, guys. We said that how are we going to actually make this thing happen? How are you going to move the needle? You have to vote in the present constitutional framework within which Kenya exists. I told you I ate a dictionary. Yeah. The only way for you to move the needle, because we can talk. Guess what? We can talk. We can talk for years. In fact, if we collected the words that we all speak about these things and put them, we can fill an ocean. But now, if you don't act, then we're going to have a problem. And we already know that the answer is in the numbers. We know, guys, that the answer is in the numbers when it comes to how you're going to be able to move a decision from point A to point B.
And I think as Wananchi, we need to realize that the power that we have for us to change, we have all the right to be angry, and angry you must be. But the only way for you to change the situation is by you registering and making the decision thereafter to come out and vote. Because that is the only way you get to fire somebody who's not delivered for you, and you get to hire a new person who will equally get in there and deliver. And if they don't deliver again, you have the power to fire them again.
Yes.
Wananchi, we need to realize that our appointment letter is that card.
Yeah.
Like Kamanya keeps on saying here, all these people are servants. During election day, that is when we sign that contract for them to get into those offices to serve us. But you cannot have that power, you cannot have that contract, you cannot have that pen if you do not have the vote, if you are not registered as a voter. You need to realize that. That if you see things going haywire every other time and you never registered, imagine you have no voice to call out anybody. But if you do have a voice, if you do have a vote, you're able to hire, you're able to fire, you're able to complain, you're able to recall an individual who is not delivering for you.
The question that we're answering this morning in this case is that the president asked over the last week, why are you not registering? Whereas he could have been asking this question in his own backyard, the question then flows around the rest of the country. Why are you not registering to vote and actually make a conscious decision to vote come the next election? And that's the question that we're posing this morning. Do talk to us on 0732 142 650 or 0732 142 653. Because we want to understand, and maybe that everybody should know, that this is why people are not registering. Dennis has said people don't trust the system. Others are saying, yeah, we'll get to it at some point. You just calm down. But is there time? Somebody says Gen Zs will vote and they'll vote in number. Well, one of the prerequisites to voting is to actually register as a voter. So IEBC is giving us numbers that have not even reached 1 million. 1.5 million. What's going on? Let's hear from you this morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Ango from Bondo.
Yes, Onyango, how are you doing this morning? Talk to us. Have you registered to vote?
Long time ago. I'm a voter.
You're a voter. Why are others not registering? I'm sure you know 5 people in your spaces that have not registered to vote.
What I know is that people who have registered and are not going to vote, or people who are not interested in voting, are first of all doing disservice to themselves.
They're doing a disservice.
A very big disservice to themselves. They are doing the same big disservice to their families, the clans they come from, and the tribe they come from, and the whole country. Because by voting, you will end up with the person you want to rule you as your leader, your MCA, your MP, you are a senator, you are governor, and of course, ultimately, you are president.
Yeah.
And when you don't vote, obviously you are going to elect a wrong person. Because if you don't vote, somebody will vote for him or for her. Yeah, so that is the problem which people should, that is the issue which people should understand. But actually, coming back again to your question, people are actually discouraged to vote for several reasons. And one of the reasons is the way the country is being run.
At the moment?
At the moment, yes.
Okay. Thank you for your contribution. Yeah. We'll hear from some others this morning as well, but we hear what you're saying. First of all, you don't vote, you're doing a disservice to yourself and the nation. But at the same time, if you see the way things are happening at the moment, that's why people are not voting. Okay. Thank you for your call this morning.
And what I'm saying...
Yes.
Hello, go ahead.
What I'm saying is that the government should think of the people who will put them in power and do the right things to them. Like education is almost collapsing. Security is no longer there because the government, we pay taxes to the government to protect us.
Yeah.
And so many times you have heard the president come up with very strong statements about security in this country. But you see, if you want to make sure that people are secure, people who are causing insecurity must be arrested. None of them has been arrested.
Okay.
Look at what happened at Sekima a long time ago. We were promised so many things and nothing has happened. What has happened recently in St. Stephen, in Kisumu Church, we saw people with arrows and bows and rungus and stones along the streets. And you see the police, you know the geography of Kisumu, the police station from that road where the church is just about 100 meters. And there is also the office of the governor with several policemen there. Central Bank is just around there, about 80 meters away. So, can we believe what the president and the cabinet secretary for internal security are telling us? They are preaching water and drinking wine.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I'd like to take some calls from some other folks this morning but what you said is that people should actually come out and register to vote. It would make a difference. And we hear you on that. We'd love to get some views from other people today. Thank you so much for your call this morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hey, morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Okay, my name is...
Sorry?
My name is Major Mwezi, a retired military officer.
Yes.
Major Mwezi, a retired I'm calling from Ongata Rongai. I want to give an input of what is happening in this program.
What we'd like you to ask, we're asking this morning, is why are people not registering to vote and what must happen?
Okay. Madam Nduh, what I can say about that one is that from my own understanding is that people are tired. They believe that their vote cannot count. But now there is a good wave that we were taught by the Olekarau people that you vote and guard your vote. To my knowledge is that I think, if I'm not wrong, citizen votes were not counting because they believed that the votes were stolen. You know, Kenya is a very funny country. That when you vote, when you wake up very early in the morning and you go and vote with your conscience, whoever you want to vote for, and then you hear that votes were stolen, that means people are discouraged. People are discouraged, actually. But now, this wave of now you vote and guard your vote, I think people are going to turn out. Okay. What the IBC should do is should bring these votes from the regions. They should go back to the roots and take the IBC people so that many people
can vote. What you saw in Sifuna's mass coming turnout, maybe they don't have votes. So I think it is the work of IBC to go to the grassroots where people cannot have fare to go to maybe regional headquarters to go and get their votes. I think if they do that, we shall come out with a good turnout of people. People are not motivated because they know very well if I vote, my vote is not going to count. And there is one day, Madam Nduh, I told the people, if it is possible, voting anyone above the age of 18, voting should be compulsory. Like the way people have pins. I don't know whether that is democracy or not democracy, but anyone above 18 should not wait for someone to make to choose his representative and he doesn't want to vote. I think as we grow our democracy, that legislation of a mandate for everybody to go and vote who is above 18 years, that when the outcome comes, there are so many votes to clear that this person overwhelmingly was voted by people. Thank you so much, Nduh.
Thank you very much.
But on that one, I would like people to think about peace. I think this is an opportunity in this country for our sister countries to know that we can go and vote peacefully. This is an opportunity for Kenya to tell the world that we can go and vote in spite of all our political difference and affiliation. We can vote peacefully, unlike Uganda and Tanzania. That is our prayer. And these people who are bishops and sheikhs, they should come out from the churches and go and preach peace, peace, peace. Nduh. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your call this morning. We're taking a couple more today. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Yes.
Good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
I'm John Kamau from Kericho County.
Yes, John. What are your thoughts? Why are people not coming out to register to vote?
I think it is because they are not sure with the system. I think the biggest problem is that we are used to old politicians who work the way they want to work. And so as millennials, we are not even interested in this thing. But with the coming of somebody like Sifuna, I think we'll be motivated to come out and vote.
John Kamau, are you registered to vote?
Yeah, I'm a registered voter.
You're a registered voter. Of your group of 5 friends, are all of you registered to vote?
No.
They're not?
Now be the ambassador.
Now be the ambassador, absolutely. And tell your people, at least let's register to vote. You can imagine if every John Kamau is telling 5 of his friends to be registered, where we would be.
Yeah, we'll be very, very far.
Indeed.
Yes, exactly. Oh, and tell them to register and come out and vote.
And vote, not just register.
Not just register.
But vote. Thank you very much. Let's hear from all you guys today. 0732142650, 0732142653. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hi, Nduh. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm Shiro from Kikuyu.
Yes,
can you hear
Shiro.
me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
I'm Shiro from Kikuyu.
Yes, Shiro. What are your thoughts? Have you registered to vote, first of all? Maybe you can turn down the volume on your radio first or your TV. Okay, let's see if we can get Shiro.
Oh, I think you took somebody else's call.
No, we're actually talking to you. You're on air, and we need to ask you to turn down the volume on your radio or TV.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I'm sorry, I didn't realize my volume was interrupting you. So, these are my 2 thoughts on this topic. The first one was actually something that happened to me like last year. I didn't understand about mass voter registration and also when it's just open at the constitution level. So when I went to do the registration, it wasn't when it was mass voter registration. I just went online to the IEBC website, pulled up areas that needed to be different locations that I could register and vote, and just went. But I get there, and these places are closed. They don't even have voter registration. So I was actually going to get discouraged and just go back home. And then I asked my driver. I luckily had a driver with me who was like, okay, who could work with me. And I told him, why don't you take me to Kibera? Because I thought maybe I didn't even understand the whole. You have to vote if you register in a particular constituency, that is where you actually have to vote at.
Yes.
So that's the first time that I actually got to know this. So I think one of the things that the IEBC really needs to know is make sure that people understand where they're voting. Make sure that they open up this mass voter registration more often. You said there was that drive in March, then there's another drive in another, I think, coming up in October or something.
There's one coming, yes.
Yeah, but I think we need to have more of them so that people can be able to have more options. Because at that time when you're being told, oh, this one is only open at the constituency level, when I went to their website, they didn't have that information. So how was I supposed to know? I was actually about to just give up and then think about, okay, I'll have to come back another day. And that sometimes that means taking a day of work, that means taking a day of extra stuff, and it can be annoying and it can be excruciating, and especially also the whole other aspect of, I'll take my time to go and vote and my votes will be stolen, or will put somebody who comes out looking like an angel only for them to come to be the devil's sister or brother, and you're like, why did I even put all my effort into that?
Yeah.
But then the other element that is there is, I follow your show. I'm very, in fact, my new daily news updates, I get them from the Situation Room. But then there's also the element of is everybody in tune with the politics of the day? I think we still have, I think it's PLO Lumumba who says Nairobi mentality, or the classism, or the middle class aspect of, I have my business, I have my property, I have my things. I don't care what else is going on in the world. If I'm eating and I'm comfortable, elections, it's for the idlers. So that's something we need to shift. And I think politics needs to be a topic that needs to be discussed in the homes. Churches need to stop feeling like, oh, we don't get into that. It needs to be something that, because we need to understand that Kenya is not a first world country. We are still a developed country. We still need to get our P's and Q's in order. And this has to come from, we are still in a place where we need our politics to make things change.
Top tip for the morning, for sure. Thank you very much for that, Shiro. Because the truth of the matter is that you can't operate in a cosm and imagine that the rest of the world does as well. Thanks for sharing your thoughts with us this morning, for sure. Asante sana. All right, hearing from some others this morning. Hello, good morning.
Yes, morning, please.
Yes, sir.
This is Mr. Serem from Gongoni, all the way from Magarini.
Hello, and a very good morning to you, Karibu sana. What are your thoughts? Are you registered as a voter?
Yes, of course. I've been voting since 1979.
Oh, wow.
So I'm not actually a newly registered voter, but I've been voting all along. So what I think what we have to do is actually to have an overhaul of all these systems. Because with these ones who are actually going around saying that they are the ones who are going to deliver this country from whatever the menace we are in, I don't think they are going to do that unless we get someone who is a bit mad that can actually a bit mad like Wajakoya, who can actually say that all the thieves should be in jail and all the corrupt people should be in jail. And that's all what this country is all what we need. Actually, with all the rest, they are just the same monkeys, different forests. So I don't think there is anything that we are going to have anyway. As long as our budget, our austerity measures are not put in place, I think we should start with why do we have to spend this much, that 3-point-something trillion or 4-point-something trillion, when we already know that a quarter of this money is gone to waste. Why should we not actually contain and make sure that what we spend is resonates with what actually we need? And we talk of the counties. All these counties have been receiving trillions of money since 10 years ago now. But we are not actually feeling any development. Why can we cut? We say the national government give that equitable shares for development, and then the county stand on its own on recurrent expenditure.
Those are points.
Yeah, I think that's the point. I think that's we are not any good any better. If say Fona, Ruto, all this, we need somebody who is a bit mad like Wajakoya who can make all these things right. Yes.
Thank you very much. Interesting adjectives that you used to describe. But thank you for your call this morning. We're going to take more calls from folks this morning to essentially hear what your thought is. A Dear Mr. President segment this morning is asking the question, why Kenyans are you not registering to vote? He's asked the question in a very small area, but that could be extrapolated to the rest of the country. What's going on? We've already heard system problem. We've heard as well that people don't trust the IEBC. People are not sure what the outcome will be, so they'd rather stay home than come out. Let's see how we can overturn that. We'll continue with the conversation after this break. Stay with us.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Traffic.
All right, taking a look at where traffic was doing the thing a little bit earlier, and a little bit busy still on the Thika Superhighway, just at that junction as you get towards Muranga Road. And so that's where most of it is happening right about now. Let's take a look at Uhuru Highway. That was starting to look a little bit crazy earlier, and it's not too bad right now. There's still traffic coming in North Airport Road, outbound towards Embakasi, but that looks to be the stickiest for now. Through the day, talk to us. Let's keep things moving. Not too bad. Done and dusted for Monday morning. SpiceFM KE on X.
Life Hack on SpiceFM, brought to you by Gentle Care Baby Pants for the unstoppable baby and for the mother who cares.
Gentle Care, wanna keep your baby dry and clean.
Turn pot handles inward and store flammable items away from heat to prevent accidental contact with hot surfaces and reduce fire risk.
Life Hack on SpiceFM, proudly brought to you by Gentle Care Baby Pants, world-class premium comfort diapers that feature quick max absorption technology and zigzag channels that distribute wetness evenly, so there's absolutely no sagging. It's smart, it's premium, and it's affordable. Join the unstoppable journey today. Grab a pack of Gentle Care Baby Pants at your nearest supermarket. Gentle Care Baby Pants for the unstoppable baby and for the mother who cares.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
All right, so coming in now at 26 minutes to 10 o'clock, and we're having a conversation with you this morning, folks, and saying, okay, so what's it going to take to get more Kenyans to come out and register to vote?
Nduh.
Yes?
Let's make it easy for members, for Kenyans to recall their elected leaders. Let's make it easy. You know why? If I voted you and you've not showed up in the county, in the constituency to come find out if projects are being implemented, what business do you have being in that office? That you're showing up 4 years later with a chopper to come talk to me about what?
To tell me what?
I have lived for 4 years without you. Go. Let's make it easy. I mean, these are things that I think we as Wananchi as well need to ensure that Parliament passes those policy directives that will make it easy for us to recall them. Because if you don't work, I don't need you in office.
True.
Leave.
True.
If you do not represent me, leave. If you do not perform oversight, I will recall you and replace you with someone else. That would be enough incentive for Wananchi to come out to vote, because then they will enjoy, they will know and have tasted the power that they do have.
Yep. Make it easy for somebody to go home.
Yeah.
And so let's hear from you this morning as well. Yep.
You realize that the Constitution, the way it has been crafted, we know that a member of Parliament goes for a single, can be recalled, right? A term is 5 years,
yes.
Right? But you don't have to even finish 1 year in that office.
No, you don't.
If you're not performing. The Constitution allows me to leave you. And I think as a people, we need to realize that that's the power that this document, the Constitution, gives us. That if a gentleman gets in there and all they do is everything against what we stand for as a constituency or in my ward, recall him. Put in someone who represents you, who oversights, and who legislates.
Very true. We're taking your calls as well, folks. What's the problem? Because do we fully understand what the process means and what it's required of us? 0732142650, 0732142653. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Morning too.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
I need you to speak up a little bit. We can't hear you very well.
Yes.
Please, hardly. Maybe you can try calling us back, okay? And let's see if we can hear you better then. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Also, please reduce the volume in your television.
I'm
or
Nduh
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Yes.
I'm Nduh
Yes.
from Nakuru.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to add on the debate.
Yes.
The problem is our politicians. They become too bossy.
They become too bossy.
They become too bossy. You give them jobs.
And is that why people are not going to register to vote?
Yeah, sometimes you take them to work. You give them a job. Rather than working for people, they work for themselves, driving good cars and everything. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so that's what he thinks.
They are actually at breaking so much.
Okay. Thanks for your comment. Thank you very much for your comment this morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Nduh. How are you?
Very well, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Say hi to Dennis Hapo.
Salama sana.
Yeah, now my take on this registration part, yeah. I think there's a go slow on both sides of both sides, the government and the public as well. Because it's the same. The approach that you're taking is a go slow. Because number one, you tell people, oh, registrations are open. You can go and register. Where? You're not telling people how and where exactly you're going to go. You see, so it's a very. You can look at it in this way. Look at registration in terms of lines. Telephone lines which are being registered around the country. It's bigger than the registration when it comes to voting. Why don't they take the same approach as the way people register for lines? They can do the same when it comes to registering for votes. Yeah, because they go mobile. Yeah, they're not stuck in one point. Because you don't expect someone to close down their day-to-day bread just to go and register for a vote. Yeah, they need to be mobile. They need to be vibrant. People need to know that, you know what, there's this going on. Yeah, and people will start asking questions to people will start asking each other questions. Are you registered? No, I'm not. There they are. Go and register. What are you waiting for? You see that influence. So that's what you are lacking. But when you say, oh, you're open for registration, you can go to the nearest maybe chief or the DO. You can register for as a voter. I mean, people won't close down what they are doing. The life itself is hard as it is. Yeah. So you expect me to close down and to go and maybe find a queue, or maybe even find the person who's supposed to be there is also another lazy person has decided to close and go his own business. You see, so it's we're not taking this seriously, and I believe maybe it will come to effect as we go towards the election. That's the time people will now start asking, hey, are you registered? Are you registered? Because, you know, there'll be campaigns all over. People will ask if you're registered or not, you see. So maybe Kenyans are waiting for that hype to start, or maybe that campaign period to start. Then they start rushing to register.
Indeed.
So that's my take.
All right. Thanks for your take this morning. Perhaps that's what people are waiting for, but there's no time like the present, as it's said.
True.
Thanks very much. Let's hear from others this morning as well. Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
I'm Harrison.
Harrison, please turn down the volume on your radio or television.
No, my phone has a problem, but I don't have any radio now.
Okay. Sawa. Go ahead.
Yes, the thing is that this thing of voting. Hello?
Yes,
we can hear you. Please proceed.
Naweza ongea Kiswahili?
Yes, kabisa.
Haya, nasema hivi, hii mambo ya kuvote. Kwanza registration kwanza ifanywe vizuri. Ni kama tuna wale wanajua kwamba sehemu fulani watu wakienda kuregister sana
hawatapata kura huko. So we want IPC wawe watu ambao wako very open, waende kila pahali. Si ati waende sehemu moja ndio watu wanarejesta sana na ingine watu hawarejesti sana. Vijana inafaa waamuke. Vijana wako chini sana. Tuko chini. Mimi niko na wengi sana wako around me na wengi hawana kura. Kimwambia mtu anakuambia naenda kurejesta ya nini? Itanisaidia na nini? So we need to come out in very clear with the policies, with that ile attraction ya watu, tuambie watu kwa nini tunavote. And especially young people. Young people, they are good. You see right now ndio wanahanga kwa magari. Umeona mzee akianga kwa gari? Hakuna mzee anahanga kwa gari. Hakuna mzee anahanga kwa gari. Wale watu wanahanga kwa gari watu 28 years, 25 years, 30 years and others. If unfortunately, I'm sorry, akikufa mutakuta hana ID, hana kura.
Okay.
Yeah. So we need just the young people should just wake up, both girls and men.
Girls and men.
Okay. Yeah, girls and men.
Okay.
Will change this nation, but without hii tu mambo ya kuongea na kupanda kwa magana, kupewa 100, 200, unafika kwa nyumba unakuta unakula nyama ambayo hukununua, ulipewa 100 kwa barabara. It will not help us. I'm very serious about that. And I'm happy for your program what you are doing, you guys. Kwanza nyinyi watu wawili, Mungu amsaidia sana, mpate njia yani muwe na hii information ifikie watu wote.
Amen.
Asante sana. Mimi hiyo ndio maombi yangu.
Asante sana.
Hata ile mambo unaona imefanyika kama huko Western, kwanza ile ilikuwa Western hii ya mambo ya Sifuna. It is good amekuja nje, hako sawa. Anataka kusimama na kuonyesha vijana yuko. Lakini wale vijana tunamsurround, are we serious or we are just after his money or the money that is being collected on the road?
Wow, good question.
Good questions.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Asante sana. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
By way of reminder, that number is 07321422653 or 07321422650. Okay, let's hear from you this morning. Wow. Okay, guys, let's go. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Salama?
Yes, Salama kabisa. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Kennedy. I'm calling from Nairobi.
Yes.
I'm a registered voter.
Fantastic.
And first of all, I owe the country apology for voting for Ruto.
Oh, God, okay.
Secondly, I think this is outright sabotage from IBC in tandem with the government.
So the reason why people are not registering to vote is because the thing has been sabotaged by IEBC. This is what you're saying?
Yeah, just sabotage. You cannot tell me you cannot tell me that young people are more creative than the government or the institution that is supposed to that is fully budgeted from the government or from taxpayers' money. Because the IBC is supposed to be creative on how to approach people, how to go in the grassroots. You see how they do it during census, wanakujia kwa nyumba yako.
Yeah.
But now for the government, we've opened the registration. Now you can come. Then kidogo they're telling you hata watu wakuji. So you see, it's like they're discouraging you from coming, from going to register. Because you know how Kenya is very very different from other places. If people are not going, then you not go. That mob psychology.
Yeah.
People have to move away from that.
So if people don't go, others won't go. But if people go, then others will go.
Yes. That's how it has always been.
So what we need to do now is to get people to go.
Yes, get people to go. Because I don't think IBC is going to change its tactics. Because the people who are responsible for the registrations, hata hiyo pesa labda hata ameshakula ya mobilization. So it's up to us to know how we are going to kufanya wengine wa register wenye waja register. Then come 2027 tutokea sisi wote sasa. Kila mtu akitokea, then now you'll see that there will be a change.
Asante sana, Kennedy.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for a call, Asante, and have a good one. Asante, bro.
There's something Kennedy has said that census goes to every household in the country to take the numbers. So what I did, I just went to look at the budget allocation as at 2019 when census was taking place. It was 18.5 billion shillings.
For the census exercise?
Census exercise. To go to each and every single household in the country.
18 billion?
18.5 billion.
Voila.
IEBC has how much?
IEBC initially they asked for 67 billion. I believe that thereafter they were given 41 billion, or that's what was approved by Parliament. So there's some 20 something billion that maybe we don't know.
Yeah. You realize where I'm headed?
Senor?
When it comes to registration, we can do better.
Okay.
Not go to every household, but we can increase the number of registration centers in bus stops, in schools, in colleges, in markets. We also have mini markets that are being constructed by the government. So those are also centers where you can get many people to go register. So it can be done.
Why isn't it done? Interestingly enough, because I'm seeing folks asking a question here, is that why does it have to be a separate exercise?
Yes.
That you should then be able to do it so you know that when this person turns 18, they'll be eligible to vote. So why can't it be kind of like, okay, well, we're giving you an ID at this point because you're 18.
Yeah.
Why can't we just do
ID
the same
plus
thing?
Voter registration. Then
why should there be a separate exercise? I mean, it feels so we're building castles in the sky, but it seems like something that it's always a pain point. Every single general election, people run around saying, vote me or count me or register me to vote. Every single exercise, but the understanding is that if everybody has been registered to vote, the people that you're registering to vote in the new cycle is because they have just attained the voting age.
Yes.
Right? So the assumption is that new registrations are actually new voters.
Yeah.
That unless there was a discrepancy between your voting center, your constituent, whatever the case may be, that's when we're going to deal with those. But that at the time that you're giving people an ID, register them as a voter. Whether they choose to come later or not, but let them be registered.
Let them be registered.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming
this
someone
exercise
knows
that
where
you
they're
spend money
coming
on
from.
every time is unnecessary.
Everybody knows where they're coming from. So
You would
if
assume.
I'm taking my ID from my area chief, definitely you have details on where it is I'm coming from. And that would inform the individual there as to what constituency, or I can even choose which constituency. So when it comes to voting day and I have moved locations, I am in Mombasa, all I need to do is to switch to where I am currently and vote.
Assuming that everybody knows where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Except Cosmas. Cosmas is our cameraman at KTN. He doesn't know where he lives. That's another story for another day. So,
but then why do we have separate exercise?
Yeah, why do you have a separate voter registration exercise every time a general election is coming up? Ask yourself that question. And you spend a lot of money registering people, then you sit here for a few months, then you come and say, we're going to have a robust voter registration exercise in another 1 month. Then it's like something you're dangling before people. Oh, you know what? In July, like you've never seen before, another voter registration exercise coming to a center near you. Stop it.
Please subscribe.
No.
You know what that means? If we did it the way we are talking about it, these budgets that IEBC is asking for will not be there. IEBC would spend more money on voter education.
Other things, exactly. Like getting to know your customer.
Yeah.
In this case, during an election, know your MCA.
Yes.
Know your MP. Know your woman
senator.
rep. Know your, exactly.
Yeah.
Know, so that you spend, because tell me, how much time has IEBC had really in the last 1 year since the establishment of the new commission to really do this voter education that we're talking about? Is it even their job? But are there certain things that they can put in place?
Yes.
How about you divert that? I actually am wondering why you have this thing that takes up so much time, money, resources every time there's a general election. No. It's a waste of time and resources.
Because at registration of ID, what happens? They take your vitals. Your biometrics.
They take your details.
So all you need then is perhaps add the iris, for them to take your photo, because they take your photo at the ID. Why do we have a separate exercise when already all these details are with the government of Kenya?
Meanwhile, you don't even have to wait for the robust one.
No, you don't.
You can actually be registering now.
Yeah.
You can go to places and register. And
Question
if there's
is, are they
nobody,
open?
I was going to say, if there's nobody there when you say, I've come on Monday, the 27th of July, to register, and there's nobody there, then we have questions to ask because it should be open, unless we are wrong.
I'm going to pass by mine today.
Pass by and tell us what's going
I'll
on.
tell
When you come
what's,
tomorrow, you
what's
tell
happening,
us.
yeah.
Cindy, let's take a couple more calls from you this morning. Why are you not registering to vote? Talk to us this morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling in from, sir.
Naongea Kiswahili.
Hakuna shida, endelea.
Nafurahia na hiyo mjadala.
Asante sana.
Ambayo inaendelea. Mimi nachangia kwa kusema ile kitu inafanya Wakenya they are not interested kwa registered. Ni kukosa ile uwazi, transparent, kwa sababu tunaona kwamba kwa mfano 2007 tuliona kwamba tulipiga kura vizuri, lakini kuapishwa Kibaki aliapishwa usiku. Hiyo inavunja watu mioyo, kuonekana kwamba hakuna uwazi, hakuna ukweli. Maana Kibaki kuapishwa usiku ilimaanisha kwamba kuna dosari ilikuwa, ili watu waamuke tu wapate mtu ametangazwa. Hiyo kitu inavunja watu mioyo, kuonekana kwamba hakuna uwazi, hakuna ukweli. Inavunja watu mioyo. Maana yule mtu ambaye amepigia kura imeonekana wazi kwamba ameshinda, lakini amenyang'anywa kiwazi. Ndio hiyo inavunja watu mioyo. Na watu wanakosa kuwa na interest ya kwenda kuwa registered. Kitu kingine, hakuna ukweli, hakuna uwazi pale Bomas of Kenya. Kuna mambo mengi ambayo inaendelea pale. Ambapo lile ambayo tumekuwa tunategemea litokee sio ndile ambayo linatokea. Yaani nchi yetu imekuwa corrupt. Sasa tunasema kwamba tumekosa ule transparent, tumekosa yule uwazi, tumekosa yule uaminifu. Tumekuwa na ujanja, uongo. So ndio kitu imevunja watu mioyo.
Nasikia kweli? That's a point.
Asante sana.
Asante sana.
Nashukuru.
Nashukuru pia. That's a big one. We'll talk about that in just a bit, but let's hear from this other call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, hi.
Hi, good morning.
This is George calling from Mombasa.
Yes, George.
No, I might have a different angle here, voter registration, but my question was,
yes.
Whenever mimi nataka kwenda kupiga kura, I must have an original ID.
Yes.
In a scenario, I lost one. Na hii Kenya tunaishi, nafaa kulipa more than 1,000 shillings to get a new one. Wengi wa wenye tunapiga kura bila ID, you are not eligible to vote.
Yes.
What is Kenya government doing for that? Unaambiwa if you need a new ID, you have to pay for that. And you require at least 1,000 shillings.
Have you lost your ID?
Most of the voters ni youth. Akipoteza identification card, haezi enda kuvote. In an angle, the government should either watoe hiyo 1,000, people should go and renew their IDs when you're wamepoteza, apart from registration. Sababu wengi, most of them ni watu wameregister, but they don't have their IDs. Some of them have lost their IDs. They can't vote.
Do you have your ID?
I have my ID.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess there is, for all of us here, something to talk to 5 people in your groups today to say that, guys, if you're not registered to vote, you need to get on that. At least register, then let's now continue to do the rest of the work. But thank you for your call this morning. We're going to hear from some others as well.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. This is Jobson. I'm calling.
Yes.
Natoka hapa Mount Elgon.
Talk to us.
Yeah, so I want to respond to the question in discussion.
Yes.
That's why people are not voting.
Why are people not registering?
Yeah, registering. Yes, actually, you know, I think number one, the IBC structure there are ways of, ensuring that they register people more.
Mm-hmm.
For example, there was just recently whereby there was that, I don't know how this above ilikuwa naitwa. They were saying that it is some, there was a period like 3 months or 4 where they were registering people, there were people moving in the villages.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think such an exercise should be continuous.
Yes.
So that, watu wanatembea kwenye mitaa.
Mm-hmm.
Not just that maybe some 2 or 3 months. Like, for example, for now, somebody from my village kufika ile where the IBC office is like 15 kilometers away.
15.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So somebody mtu anapata pengine 200 shillings, you cannot go, just register and you have nothing to eat. Kwamba sasa you are just going to register kupiga kura. I think they should actually have a period like 1 year whereby they send their people, officials, waende huko kwenye mitaa kabisa. For 1 year, not 2 months, not 3 months. No. Number 2, I think also watu wana vitambulisho. That's the truth.
Okay.
Number one, unaenda kwa chief pale, you want an ID. Then you are told tunataka shilingi 200 ya picha. And remember this person hajaweza kunywa chai asubuhi, atapata 200 ya picha. This person ana kazi ya kufanya. An old lady ama ni mzee hapo ama kijana pia na hustle tu apate hiyo 200 akule ama afanye alipe rent. So I think such things should be free. Very free, totally free. Atakanya hata mtu aitishwe maybe 50 ya si ati nini, hapana. So such things will actually encourage people to go and get IDs and therefore they can register. The last one, I think people are also very tired in this country. They are tired of electing leaders. Alafu after elections wanapotea wanaingia kichaka. So people are tired. They see like there's no need of even registering. Mbona nisumbue time yangu? I should be doing something better even than going to register for this thing called voting and kupiga kura na hakuna kitu inanisaidia.
Okay. I hear what you're saying. There's a lot of things that have come through this morning. But thank you for your call this morning, for your comment. You do the last one for us this morning.
Yeah, thank you. Nashukuru sana.
Asante sana. Isn't it interesting that there's a lot of reasons that people are giving as to why they've not registered to vote? There's a lack of trust in the system. There's a fear that what will happen. There is not trusting the IEBC. They're saying that, well, what difference does my vote make?
The cost element.
The cost element of if I don't have... There's people not actually having IDs, so you're not actually going to make the move. There's a reason why these things are not happening. Whose responsibility is it to make sure that the environment is conducive for all of these things to take place? But then there's also responsibility that bears on you in your circle of people who do have the wherewithal to make it happen. What are they doing? And that's the question that we leave you through this morning. Good morning. It's 10 a.m.
Spice up your life. The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning, this is the news. I'm Sheila Tembor. MPs are calling for amendments to the Public Finance Management Act to bring housing levy funds under the oversight of the Controller of Budget. A report by the Constitutional Implementation Oversight Committee said the current legal framework excludes the levy from independent monitoring, creating accountability gaps in the management of billions of shillings collected annually from workers and employers. The committee wants all special funds and levies placed under the Control of Budget supervision and is also proposing an integrated payment system with the Central Bank of Kenya